Sleeper suplex.
And you were able to kill him, knowing that?
Yep.
How?
He wanted it. Besides, some people just need killing.
No. Sleeper suplex.
Hey, so we've never started an episode like that. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode.
Damn, son. How'd you find this?
Yet another episode of Sleeper Suplex coming at you live from wherever podcasts are sold. I am one of your co-hosts, Kobe. And today we have a very special concept, if you couldn't tell by that intro, and a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
First of all, I just want to say, oh my God, did you kill my mic?
He didn't even put his mic on.
I had the wrong mic up. Priorities.
Wow, horrible
Had a
start.
whole intro. Had a whole intro.
Horrible start.
Forgot
Go
the
for it.
guest.
Embarrassing.
Go for it. I can't tell if that was planted or not. I think he planted it, Kobe.
We
Chills.
Oh my god.
I just want to say first, chills. That was awesome.
That was sick.
that was fucking awesome,
Yeah,
man.
that was sick.
Special guest. I guess if I am a special guest, Dominic is here for.
Detroit.
Yeah. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah. What up, Detroit? Dominic is here in the house.
So today is a very special episode for two reasons. The first reason just introduced himself. The second reason is that today is a much more focused episode, though you probably couldn't tell by that intro. We are speaking specifically about one genre of music today, and moreover, we are talking about the three-headed monster at the very top of that genre today. We are talking today about Mr. Jermaine Cole, Mr. Aubrey Drake Graham, and Mr. Kendrick Lamar. So
Not in that order.
Not
in that order.
No. So
Hard stance,
So-
not in that order.
this week, what we did to really kind of zhuzh up the font a little bit is we went through, we found tracks that stuck out to us from those three artists to sort of parrot the well, I don't know if you guys have really seen the news lately, but there's some situations happening in hip hop today. You know, this whole J. Cole, less so J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar thing.
I would say
Absolutely.
there's a lot going on.
I would say there's some stuff going on.
Absolutely. It's definitely extended beyond the big three, but
Oh yeah.
still the big three.
Well, I mean, yeah, because now speaking of big, the very large Rick Ross is involved.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
So
A little
so
premature on that one.
so.
Maybach music.
So stuff has happened even in like the 2 weeks since we recorded, and this has been a small interlude for us. I'm so off my own game because there's so much shit happening.
I know, there's a lot.
How's it
A lot of new
going?
factors.
What's up? What are we feeling? How are we? What are we thinking?
I'm trying to keep up with it on Twitter. Well, X, I guess. I'm trying to keep up with it because like all I'm seeing really is Drake and Rick Ross like really going back and forth nonstop. On their-
White
White boy.
BBL Drake called his
BBL
mommy
Drake.
on me.
Oh my God.
20-year-old
Dude.
Jet, be safe, white boy.
I'm showing my girlfriend the BBL Drizzy stuff. I'm losing my shit over it. It is so funny. Rick Ross is like posting like what is it, the sicko mode verse,
Oh, yeah.
being like, "You never would have thought. Who wrote this? You never would guess." You know, and they're just going back and forth. It is insane, man.
You had a good diss track, too. I saw some disrespect.
Yeah.
It's
to his
not
diss
bad.
track. It's a good one.
It's not bad.
I don't understand the hate for it. He does his thing. I don't know what you expect out of Rick Ross,
yeah, right.
but, you know.
If there's one thing that this has taught me, it's that Rick Ross is much better than I thought he was, and much funnier than I thought he was. For sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I have very limited Rick Ross experience in
Right.
his solo discography. A lot of it I just wasn't in love with. But as a personality, as a figure in the rap WrestleMania, he's a powerhouse. He's awesome.
Yeah,
I would love to have Rick Ross be involved more in this type of shit.
I mean, it's funny you say the WrestleMania stuff. The timing is just like crazy, and you know we're not gonna go like too deep into it, but like the timing with like wrestling, like the actual physical WrestleMania, and like all this rap beef going on.
It's weird.
This is a perfect time for this episode.
I would say
with
so.
like this triple threat match with special guest Rick Ross. You know, we got the Kendrick Lamar, we have the Drake, we have all this stuff going on. So this really is like a perfect time to really like, you know, dig deep and kind of like analyze these artists. I think.
100%. The one question I have before we get started, and I wanted to kind of really quickly run through it. So obviously we're all relatively to pretty well familiar with the three artists we chose. We wouldn't have done this if we weren't at least in some level familiar with all of them.
Yes.
But my curiosity, and I was texting you about this, George, who was the most difficult for you to pick for? Because like I know for me personally, the most difficult for me to pick for you would think it would be J. Cole or Drake because I'm far less familiar with their discographies than Kendrick. But for me, Kendrick Lamar was the hardest to pick because I was picking from so many songs that I like up until a couple hours ago, I didn't know what song I was going to pick. So like, where was the difficulties for you? Would you say like who was hardest?
I would say like for me, and this has nothing to do with quality. It's more so just the different dimensions of each particular person. J. Cole and Drake were definitely both really hard. I'm going to bring it down to Drake.
Yep.
I had a lot of options for Drake. And that's not because I like a lot of Drake music. It's just because I didn't know what side of Drake would best mesh with these two.
Yeah.
I mean, I could bring Rap Drake, but if I bring Rap Drake, he's going to really clash with the other two. And in my opinion, Drake is bronze in the big three, and it's going to be way too easy of a shot to just bring in Rap Drake only for him to be washed by a Kendrick song or a J. Cole song. So I was like, okay, do I do that? Do I bring Sing Drake? Do I bring Meme Drake? Do I do Modern Drake? Do I do Old Drake? There's a lot of different Drakes, and they all are consistently mid, which is why it was so hard.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of good Drake music. We'll get into that discussion very soon. Drake is our first in the slot. But yeah, Drake, despite the variety of his sound, he never excels. And that's why it was the hardest for me.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, for me, when I got invited onto Sleeper, finally, thank you.
It's time we added some class to the podcast, is what I would say.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, first of all, I've gone on a little tangent. When I was told before the episodes were rolling out that you guys listened to the Ghetto Boys without me, I was very upset.
Yeah.
Not upset, but I was like, damn, exactly. I'm just going to get interrupted by the soundboard the whole time. It's like my Twitch chat. But anyways, when I got invited onto this episode and I thought about like, okay, how do I want to go about it? Because in my eyes, these artists all are very different, all very successful in their own ways. Some catch flack for very different reasons. A lot of, their fan bases are very different. And I really like sat down and thought like, oh, what kind of angle do I want to go about? Kind of like what you were saying, George. What kind of angle should I like look at these artists? Like, do I want to go, sing Drake, rap Drake? Even for J. Cole, for me, like, oh, he sings a little bit. Do I want to like go more like of his like melodic stuff, or do I want to go more of his experimental stuff, kind of like KOD? Not doing KOD, stuff like that. And for me, which I'll dig, deeper into later, I picked 3 songs that are kind of like, they're all in different stages of their careers, all of them in different eras. So for me, the difficulty actually was Drake, kind of because of like his progression and his discography, really. Just because it was just difficult with like the decisions that he made in his career, to be successful. Not that I'm an artist, I just don't like, I don't appreciate. And he got more annoying as he got older and as he released more music. And so as I was looking at his discography, I was like, what do I really want to pick? Because like, at least in my opinion, his stuff really just got more and more similar in a way. You can like really hear like what he's going for. And there's a lot of that. Is there still good stuff within that pool? 100%.
Absolutely.
But then there's like stuff with J. Cole and Kendrick where like their evolutions are very different. And as I said, I'll go into that later. But yeah, Drake for me definitely was difficult just because of the distinct sound compared to the other two, that it was like, I don't really know how to like sift through all of this and really like that I want to show you guys.
Yeah. That's a very, very good points all around. I think the thing that's sort of what I was realizing as I was trying to figure out who I wanted to pick for, or what song I wanted to pick for who, the thing I kind of realized is that for me, I like what you guys are saying of trying to figure out the blend of where is the intersections between these guys. What is it going to sound like if I put 1 next to 2 next to 3? Where are the fault's going to lie? Where is the difference going to be? For me, what I kind of learned is that I think that, yes, they are the big 3, but they aren't very much. I wasn't too concerned with trying to make the sort of loose ends fit with each other, where it's like, I picked songs from each of them that I liked and thought showed a side of them that was intriguing to me. But I said this right before we even started recording. Drake's, to me, a pop star. I don't consider him a rapper, especially not anymore. He's a pop star. He's a pop star who raps, you know what I mean? Which is fine. And then I consider, like, J. Cole to be a lyricist and a rapper. Probably doesn't make, pop music. That's just not his bag, right? And Kendrick, to me, is an artist. He does both. He can make popular music, and he has, but he's also an extreme lyricist. He's kind of both of those worlds combined. You know what I mean? So
there is a lot of intersection between these three, though. And we can get into the nitty-gritty of it, especially the pop stuff. I would say if we're talking like that sort of pop direction, because rap is the new pop, to an extent. Kendrick is the hardest to get into. If you don't already like Kendrick, it's the hardest to convince someone to get into Kendrick. He's the largest commitment out of those three.
In what way, though? What do you mean? Like, in terms of his sound is hardest to, like? I don't know what you mean.
You can't go to Kendrick and hit shuffle at a party and expect everyone to stay there.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
no.
You can't do
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
no.
Yeah.
Whereas the other two, it's a lot safer. It's a lot safer to do something like that.
I think that kind of speaks to it's kind of what I'm saying, though. That kind of speaks to the range that Kendrick has.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
but there's also a reason why he's not as globally celebrated as like a Drake or a J. Cole is.
Kendrick Lamar isn't as globally celebrated as Drake and J. Cole, you're saying?
I mean, there's the line in the diss track. He's big in Japan. Drake is big in Japan.
Yeah, because they're not listening to what he's saying.
Exactly, though.
Okay,
Exactly.
We actually are going to get into this because I don't want this to be like a debate before we even play a song.
Right. So we're in the Drake session. I'm trying to give Drake his flowers because I want to transition into the Drake portion.
So let's just jump right into the Drake portion.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Drake. I'm going to go first. So the Drake song I picked, I don't know why I'm introducing it like this. The Drake song I picked was off of the only era of Drake that I would knowingly recommend to people who wanted to get into Drake as like more of an artist, less of a pop star. So I picked a song off of If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. This is his 2015 mixtape. Probably know it. This is a song called Legend by Drake. Yeah, all right. So,
Copyright ghost.
So
Came back.
That's gonna be a fun edit.
Fuck,
He muted Dom again.
Come on, man.
keep forgetting
I might as well
Dom.
Just leave.
So,
Just leave, man.
yeah.
Gotta
So,
tape J Chaz on this mic right here. All right, talk your shit. Why is Drake your favorite?
so Drake's my favorite because I just love how
I just love everything about
I
it.
love
Sexy voice.
He's awesome. No, so I love the stupid little heart he carves into his head.
Embarrassing.
So I think the issue is that sorry. So that was Legend by Drake off of If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I think above all else, that just kind of sounds like I don't think I'm the first person to kind of like lob this complaint about him. That just sounds like Drake actually giving a shit and like caring. You know what I mean? And I feel like for a lot of his music, one of the things you can tell, it's just kind of lethargic. It's just he's sort of going through the motions. It's paint by numbers. Not to mention, his albums are about an hour and a half long, and you can tell he didn't care about an hour of them.
Caring about what in this song?
Just, he sounds more committed to the song. It sounds like he's alive and awake in the booth and like he's actually got his thumbprints on what's being made.
Do you think that's because of the fact that this is a much more rap-focused album? He feels more
Probably.
competitive?
I mean, probably. Mixtapes are just notoriously people who are much, I mean, frankly, to use a really kind of cliche term, much hungrier about all of it. You know what I mean? And something I picked up on this time around with it is, first of all, the main thing I noticed, and it kind of made me smile, he samples So Anxious by Genuine on this song, which I fucking love. I love that song, and I didn't even notice that that was the sample, like, at any point. No, it's great. I mean, it's just a really good, strong rap song with a really good amount of percussion on it. Like, the lyrics aren't exactly going to fucking blow you out of the water. He says, I'm too good with these words, which is not exactly, life-changing. But I don't know. I don't really have much more to say other than that I really like the song. I like the production on it. I like the way it sounds. I like that it sounds like he actually gives a shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, sound-wise, I will say the production's really fucking good.
The chorus has been stuck in my head all day. I'm just whistling around the house and shit.
There's a lot of Drake songs that do that. If anything, he's good at making an earworm.
Yeah, pop earworm guy.
That's what happens when you spend so much time in the dirt. But his production is really good.
Jesus.
consistently.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
the song's definitely loud. That's all I can really agree with.
You don't like that song?
I don't like anything about that song, really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the beat is cool. Yeah, yeah. You could say damn. I mean,
That's shocking.
I don't know. I think the lyrics are lazy. You said the lyrics are, nothing to, really emphasize. But I mean, it's just, this is also like what year is this? 2015, 2014?
15. Yep.
15, yeah. This is maybe a little bit
Arguably prime Drake. That's I said air quotes there.
Yeah, I
because that's
know.
what a lot of
It's
people
a lot of
refer
people-
to as,
yeah. It's like, when Drake was rapping.
Yeah, that's the same year as a back-to-back and the Future collab. And
Yeah,
all
which
that, so.
I think back to back is better than this for sure. I don't know. I also didn't listen to Drake back here at this point, so maybe a little bit of like my younger self bias is coming out a little bit. Well, I guess around this time, I kind of just didn't like the state of rap at this point. I kind of just wasn't really meshing with it. It seemed lazy to me. I was still actually really heavy into gangster rap at this point, which I'll talk about later. Actually, talking about Kendrick with my song way later in the show.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be here a while.
I know.
Big 3 for 3 hours.
I know. Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. It's just the lyrics are just boring to me. It's just a loud drum. I don't think he has a lot of energy. I don't know much about, if you're reading this, it's too late. I don't really, let's see here. I'm reading about it right now.
I'll totally wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, let's see here. It's hard. This is the opener.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's okay. It's loud. It's a loud opener. Great.
He just had it turned up loud. It's not overly loud. He just had it turned up loud.
Yeah, I mean, the bass drum is like physically loud in it. That's kind of cool. It rings in the ears. I mean, I've heard it before, but yeah, I don't really think it's something that's really memorable for me. I think he sounds kind of like lazy in it. I don't like this era of Drake. I honestly prefer his. It's funny enough, I don't like his like dancing, singing era that much, but I actually prefer it. And I'll dig into that later. I keep saying that in the show. But yeah, I like the beat, and I don't like anything else about it.
Damn. Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the beat's definitely the highlight for me.
Damn. What the fuck? I thought we were gonna.
But
fucking jam
I
on
don't
this one.
hate. I don't hate the rapping. I think the rapping's cool. I think that Drake. This is kind of a. I agree. Where this is arguably Drake's prime, but it's not my prime if I had to choose one for Drake because he's still kind of in that like sensitive gangster mode that he kind of got stuck in for a while.
Yeah.
And like some of the lyrics being like a tinge on the emo side.
Yeah.
If I die.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just looking
It
at
just
the
kind of
lyrics.
kills like the aggression of it. But
Yeah.
I will say, if you look at it from a different light, I don't remember how far back Drake's feud with like The Weeknd goes, considering they're both from the same area. But a lot of this song kind of read like snubs towards The Weeknd for me.
Interesting.
Like, it's too late for my city. I'm the youngest one repping, that kind of thing.
Well, when did like fucking House of Balloons come out from The Weeknd?
Oh, that was like early 2010s.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Shit.
Because they used to be, some of this was brought to light with the recent beef.
Oh
but,
shit.
like,
Yeah. He was fucking making music in like 2012. Shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But from that, again, I don't know if this was directed at The Weeknd or if this has anything to do with that beef whatsoever. I was just reminded of it. But he kind of has this energy on the song. I believe this is the intro to this album.
it is.
Yes. He has this energy of like he's kind of up there shaking ass. You know what I mean? He's kind of flaunting himself. He has a bit of like a taunting, nasally tone to his voice. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this song, it does kind of work.
Yeah.
Because he does ride the production pretty well. So he can sort of back it up with it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a good song. He's not sounding like he's proclaiming himself the king of pop on like the most mid thing you've ever heard. Like this is good.
Yeah.
It actually has an experimental like
Yeah.
edge to it.
Yeah.
Even like the last almost minute of that song was just like, I don't know who made the beat, but they were spazzing on it with
It's
that little
Party Next Door produced it.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of nuts actually.
And Party Next Door signed to Drake.
Right.
So it's like, if anything, he's just flexing the king shit there. This is early in his claim to the crown.
Sorry, are you done?
That's it,
You
yeah.
took a drink. I didn't know. I didn't know if you were like pausing mid. So I just think I don't know. I see what you're saying, but to me, so let me go through my process for listening to like Drake and J. Cole in this instance. So I'm much less well read in Drake and J. Cole. I would say I know more J. Cole than Drake, but I would not even say I'm well read there. Because to me, to be honest with you, it just has not been something I wanted to go out and really peruse a whole bunch.
I don't blame you.
For this, I sort of was like, I was puttering around in my like songs and my playlist and shit, and I was like, what Drake do I even regularly listen to? And the one the one thing that I always sort of did go back to was his mixtape stuff, because just, I don't know. I think that there's something less disingenuous about this sort of Drake thing. He's sort of melding styles in a way that, as you said, he's sort of a jack off all trades, masturbate none, right? Like he's not. He's sort of.
Son, where'd you find this?
He sort of doesn't try. He tries to do all these things, and he's never great at any of them. But here it feels like a really good blend of like a catchiness in pop music, a really a straightforward for sure, but a very like. I would say a really good. The percussion's really good. I love the snare on it. I love how high the snare is that hits you. His singing voice has never been great, but it's an earworm. It's catchy. It's got a sort of charm to it. And again, if it's him beefing with The Weeknd over who is the real god of Toronto, what an adorable beef. That's so cute. I love that.
Especially because of how pathetic it is compared to The Weeknd.
It's so funny because The Weeknd's the better artist, but it's just funny because The Weeknd would go on to make Starboy. That guy's in rap beefs. That's fascinating to me. Beefing with what? That's like me and my brother beefing over the controller. That's crazy. So I don't know. I see what you're saying. I think I don't think it's very like. Like I said, the lyrics aren't doing anything, but it's really just combining the things that Drake is decent at, which is making something that tops charts and sticks in the ear, and being non-egregious, and he's doing it in his most honest way. This is genuinely who Drake is at this time. This isn't him pretending. This isn't him.
Absolutely.
This is just who he is and everything like that. And it's, as far as Drake goes, good.
It's something girls can play in the Uber and the guys can play at their basketball game. It's both of them. You know?
Yeah. I just envision like middle school basketball game. That's what I envision.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I believe your song, which is up next, carries on deeper into Drake's sort of pop transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided to. Are we just gonna go right into it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I went a little later into the Drake, where he kind of, caught strides into the more pop influence. Actually, before we do that, where I really got into Drake, just my little roots with him, is Views, which is 2016.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
2016. It's all a blur, man. It's crazy.
The year
It
after.
drops like every single year.
It's
the
the
year
year
after
right
this.
after.
It's kind of
which is
insane.
crazy
Every
to
year
me.
he has a project come out. It's
It's
a lot.
It doesn't seem
he's-
like it to me, but it's
Drake's
true.
Drake's a cottage industry.
him and Logic are going head for head, and
Not anymore. Not anymore.
But Views came out, and that's where I actually started listening to Drake more, other than like the occasional like single that would come out,
Right.
or as I said, I like a middle school basketball game at a friend's house, whatever it may be, where I'd hear, oh, there's Drake rapping Drake. That's what I would hear. But then Views came out, and you'd hear him singing more, and I'd be like, oh, what is this? And I liked it. I actually liked Views. If I listen to Views now, maybe not so much, but that's a whole other episode. But anyways, I went a little later, where you can really hear him really give into the poppiness. We talk about this all the time, George, where I went on Scorpion, 2018, Drake, and this is an era where he really gave into pop, gave into social media, and really tried to make really trendy songs. And he still did. He made a lot of hits. And I did Nice for What on Scorpion, which was a mega hit. That was one of the singles. One of the singles of Scorpion was also God's Plan. And I think there was a third one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm upset. I'm upset. I forgot. I couldn't remember what it was, but that was the third one. But I decided to go for a much more, club dancing, girls shaking their asses type song. That I actually enjoy, and I'm happy I chose this over what else I was gonna pick off of Scorpion, which I will use in my discussion after. But let's just enjoy this for now.
all right, Nice for What? Drizzy.
God, hearing those songs next to each other is such a jump, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And it's a year. It's like a couple years later. It's 3 years later.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a fucking leap. Oh yeah.
Ah! That's enough. Okay.
At least you remember to bring my fucking mic up that time.
Holy shit.
What up, Detroit?
All right. That's a lot going on.
Yeah, so drastically different.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so okay, yeah, I'll admit it. The beat's fucking crazy, I think. Murder on the Beat. I think that I've always thought that fucking instrumental is fucking crazy,
the
dude.
instrumental's awesome.
Gets me going. It gives me chills every time. It still like gets me going. I get nostalgic hearing it, man. I remember hearing that shit. So yeah, 2018, you know, still in high school, I believe. Yeah, no, still in high school at the time. I remember girls blaring that shit in the student parking lot at my high school, like
Crazy
dancing in the
prom
parking
song.
lot. Shit was
Crazy
crazy.
prom song.
You know, I don't think he sounds great all the time. He's really pushing out the vocals. You know,
Yeah.
he's like singing. I think he sounds like ass sometimes, but that's okay. You know, he's singing, you know, and a lot of women find like those lyrics like really like relatable. College girls find it really cool, and it's just a song to fucking bounce to.
Yeah.
High energy the whole way through.
Oh, yeah.
Lauryn Hill on the chorus.
Love that.
It's in terms of its mixing, it's like it sounds fucking crazy. It's an insane song to just bounce to.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Production's fucking crazy. The fact that he rides the beat so well.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual like story of the lyrics are like whatever. You know,
No.
he's not saying anything.
Girls
especially
like it,
the high
though.
school line.
Yeah.
We can do without that.
Yeah,
In hindsight, it really doesn't read that well, does it?
yeah. I
I mean,
wasn't
it was
gonna
fine
mention.
when we were in high school, but nowadays
Yeah.
it's like, all right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna
um,
mention that line, but
yeah.
since you brought it up,
How
wasn't
old,
gonna mention
was
it.
he in 2018 talking
we can
about
look it
that?
up.
How old was he? He was old enough to have a beard on this album cover.
He's like he's like
He was
40
31.
now.
He was 31.
He's 31. He's
He
in his
was like
30s.
31.
I will say though, to give this song any credit, right?
Any credit.
I actually like the song a lot. This is my
Yeah, I'm
favorite.
giving it credit now,
This is
yeah.
my favorite song off Scorpion.
It's
easily.
It's
yeah.
one of the
Easily.
best.
It's
yeah.
one of my favorite like Drake singles of all time.
Yeah.
I'll also say this is post Pusha. This song,
Yeah.
and this is the song that got me back listening to Drake. Because after the Pusha T shit came
Oh my
out,
God.
I was like, yeah, I'm never touching Drake
Oh my
music
God,
again.
man.
And then this
He,
came out like really close after that, and I'm like, all right, it's a bop. Like it doesn't address the beef at all.
No.
But it's such a good bounce that it got me back, and I'm like, okay, I'll give Scorpion a listen.
Well, yeah. I mean, Drake got stomped into the soil.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God. Like, dude. So yeah, no. I mean, it's everything you guys are saying. It's got a really good bounce. He's really sounds for Drake. He sounds really really great on it.
He has a really good cadence.
He does.
I think overall for
He
like
does.
his like singing vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I mentioned earlier that I got into him in Views, and there's a lot of singing and like, you know, dance sounds, dance cadence, and vocals that he has on Views that I really liked. You know, he had more life in the middle of these two projects that he kind of like just didn't sound too good. Yeah, and it just wasn't a great project. And then he kind of like he lost some energy in More Life that he had in Views and like that he encapsulated me with. And then he drops this fucking song. And I'm not saying Scorpion's a great record at all.
I don't think anyone
it's not.
would.
The album is
Arguably
just-
his worst.
It's atrocious. It really is. It's just so because it caters to like to the TikTok mind and the TikTok trends so much.
Oh yeah.
To that TikTok, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but
It's your
this song,
fucking birthday.
yeah, I almost picked that. Yeah, I almost picked
Ghetto birthday
yeah, whatever it's
Ratchet
called.
birthday
Yeah, whatever.
party.
Ratchet birthday.
It's one of
whatever
the
it's
two.
called. I don't even know what it's called. I'll call it Ratchet birthday. Ratchet birthday party. What's it called?
Ratchet, happy birthday.
Ratchet happy birthday. I don't even know what it's called. That's like how much. Yeah, I listened to it today. I'm like, yeah, there's no way we're listening to that. I was gonna pick that just to be really drastic.
You
with-
could've.
with this. No, I'm very happy with listening to this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to show a Drake high. We're talking
Yeah.
about the big three. Like I might as well show like an actual like him doing something great. And this song was just a mega hit. I mean, out of my three songs that I pick out of all of them, this is the most successful. I mean, whatever. So, but overall, yeah, this is him doing like the dance, you know, singing, like right. And he is a hit maker.
Yes.
There's no denying that. He's been a hit maker ever since, you know, his first songs with Rihanna all the way at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I will give him credit. He did it right. Murder on the Beat, killing it,
Murdered
as I
it.
said.
Yep.
Fucking murdering it as always. You know, has he done a good job at retaining this same feeling? No, I don't think so.
On occasion. There were some tracks on his last album that kind of tickled the pop
to the
sphere.
energy
but-
of this, I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
No,
I
he
just-
hasn't had a bounce like this in forever.
No, yeah, no, seriously though. Now that I'm saying that out loud, can you think of a single like song, like a club song, like to this caliber since this song?
Yeah, one.
You can?
One.
I legitimately can't think of anything. I'm also just blanking because
That song with 21 Savage that did the Daft Punk sample.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm blanking.
What's it called?
On their collab,
Yeah, it was
Circo Loco.
yeah.
Circo Loco? Yeah,
That had a
Circo
really
Loco.
good bounce to it. That's a guilty pleasure for me.
Yeah, that song's a little too fast for me. Though I like fast shit, but the tempo is just a little too like rapid. You know, you're also a Doom guy. You like fast shit.
I do,
so,
I
you
do.
know. But yeah,
Doom the game, not the rapper.
Yeah,
I saw you perk up, Kobe. but-
his eyes got a little big there. Yeah, but
I was gonna bring him on the
regardless-
podcast when you said we were gonna do rap, and then you said Big Three, and I was like, oh, damn it, shit, fuck,
Got it.
No accordion here.
Sorry about that, brother.
fuck you.
Big three being Fritos, Cheetos, and Doritos.
No, the Big Three is MF Doom, Victor Vaughn, and fucking Mad Villain.
Uh-huh. Quasimodo.
Fuck you. Whatever.
We digress.
All right.
But anyways, yeah. So I did want to bring this to Sleeper to show he can do this shit. He can be a rapper. You guys liked what you just brought to the table. Maybe not me so much, but and he can whatever. But he can do this as well. You know, and it's hard to do this consistently. You know, it's hard to make a crazy club banger like this all the time.
How many Lauryn Hill samples can you use?
Yeah, right. There's only so many.
I mean, come on.
But yeah, no, he fucking crushed it. And then he dropped a very, very rough album, but that's okay. But, you know, he has it in him. And I think, you know, in the discussion of the big three, in a very different discussion as opposed to like a Kendrick Lamar and a J. Cole, where I really look at them more as a, you know, rap-oriented GOAT. You know, he can be in the discussion in a different way.
Yeah.
And he can still rap, I guess.
He's the biggest. He's the biggest.
But he unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, he just is. He is the biggest.
yeah. I mean, he definitely has the most money and influence, but that also comes at the cost of mass appeal. And there's a part of me when I'm feeling optimistic that I don't know Drake's label situation. He obviously built a lot of his personality off of like the flashiness of all his wealth and stuff. I don't know how like his money works. I don't know where it goes. I don't know how much his labels kind of pull his puppet strings a bit, but I'm not sure how much of his music actually is like forced out of him. You know what I mean? Like he's this big cash cow. I don't know how hard they're milking him. You know, it's hard to tell what parts of Drake are character and what parts aren't. And if that character is being written by 40 people in a room or if it's being written by Drake in the mirror every morning. You know what I mean? It's really hard to tell.
Hard to read that. Yeah.
But when a song like that comes on, which is super easily digestible, not offensive whatsoever, but still like fun and a bop, and it's like I actually get more excited when Drake puts out a good single as opposed to like a J. Cole or Kendrick, because you know for sure you're gonna hear it at the bar. You know you're gonna hear it on the
100%.
radio. And I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna hear this everywhere for the next 3 months, it might as well be fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
yeah.
This is the era of Drake where he really starts to realize that he can make really catchy hooks like in his fucking sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if you don't take anything else away from the song, you're going to remember the refrain, the in your reflection without a mention. Like you're gonna remember that.
that's awesome.
Forever. Like it's an earworm. He has entered his phase where all he knows how to do is make shit that's going to be successful on the radio. And yes, at the price of like, I have to make an album a year. Oh shit, what am I going to write about? But it's interesting because for someone who has that much of that his cycle is one a year, his albums are about 25 songs, about hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Like he's not having trouble making this shit. So it really makes you wonder like how much of this is just him on autopilot.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And he is a workaholic. You got to give him credit for that. You know, he does make the money. Whether we like how he does it or not, he makes the money. You know, he moves the product. He's there. But for my song, for my Drake song, for my choices for all three of these guys, I'm going for more of a whiskey route. I want something that really shows, like, these are deep cuts. I want something that really, like, shows their respectful side. This is a song I've heard twice. Cool. So
Wow.
I just found out about it in research for this podcast because I never went back and listened to old Drake. I'm very, very mixed about new Drake, but everyone always talks about how Drake has like these classic albums in the first leg of his discography. You know, people say Take Care, it won a Grammy. You know, people talk about it all the time, how great it is. Nothing Was the Same, seen it everywhere. Even if you're reading this, I think that's like the last album in his like early career that you can classify that as. But I went back and explored some of this, and you can definitely hear the character forming. But I also think, you know, whether this was his choice or not, he had a lot more artistic freedom back then. There's a lot more like deliberate experimental sound going on. He's not forced into one-liner and club banger rabbit hole yet. He's still kind of doing whatever he wants. And he was able to pull that off while still being Drake, while still being the rapping, singing, melodic pussy that he kind of established himself to be. So during this phase, he still had a lot of respect from other people. Really, really good rap characters came on these early albums and gave him that boost. That's part of the reason why Rick Ross is so mad at him now, because Rick Ross is one of those people that gave him that sort of initial jump, that initial line of respect. So this song is a really experimental early Drake singy song that also kind of has these OGs coming in. This is The Real Her by Drake. We back in it.
Dude,
we back in it.
Dude.
Listening to Adele, I feel you, baby.
Dude, I've been looking at like the lyrics for like all the songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what possessed me to not do it for that song. I was like, oh, I'll just go in blind for this one. Cause like I didn't know that one either. You're like, oh, you've listened to that one like 2 times prior. And I was like, I'll just listen to that one. I had no clue that had Andre and Lil Wayne.
Yep.
I heard that fucking later, dude. I'm like, there is no
it's true.
fucking way.
It's true. It's like the bat. It's like the bat signal. It's so crazy. He's here for like a bite of a sandwich and then he's gone.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
I was
does
gonna,
his thing,
I
though.
was gonna say, I was like, I kind of wish he was there longer. But then 3 Stacks came in, man. I was like, no.
Andre being in
fucking
this song is so
way.
crazy. The only reason this song is anything close to good is because Andre's.
You think so?
Oh my
What the
God.
fuck are you saying,
Damn.
Kobe? Are you kidding
That was so. That was. I'm so sorry. That was so boring. That was so boring. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know.
me? That song was perfect.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Hold on. This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing. You're an idiot. This is the thing. The issue is this. What it feels like the song is trying to be is an R&B sort of banger, and Drake does not have the voice to carry it. He doesn't. Oh my God. Do I think? Yes, I do. Wow. He's just listen. I feel like he wants so bad for this to be like some sort of a soul song or an R&B song or something really, really, really heartfelt. And it's just, maybe I'm just too much on my fucking high horse being super into D'Angelo recently. It's probable that I am. But this to me is such a snore because of his delivery. He's not an inspiring vocalist here. Like when he's more animated or he's like got more covering up the fact that he's not a great singer, I think there's something there. The Andre verse referencing Adele, Someone Like You is very funny. I won't lie. And Lil Wayne showing up again for a cup of coffee and then leaving is also very funny. I just found this to be respectfully, a bit of a snore. To me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a slow one. It's really hard to sit down and like listen to it all the way through, especially nowadays, given what we're used to from Drake. Given we're used to like the 3-minute in and out from him. Pause. But like experimentally, I just like the way his voice sounds on it. I don't really care for what he's saying. And you're right. He's not becoming larger than the instrumental. And it's a very slow instrumental. But I feel his voice kind of becoming one with the beat, especially on those more distorted parts where he kind of gets this like layered echo to him. I think that I agree. You're right. Without the Andre at the end, this wouldn't be the best song. But I think considering Drake as a extended appetizer to the sort of pop at the end, where you get the 1-2 from Wayne and Andre, really helps with that. And I think that's where I like Drake the best. I like Drake when he's seasoning. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I like the songs where Drake is with other people and he's either doing the hook or he's doing like a quick, short, punchy verse to kind of pass it off to someone who's a bit more interesting than him. But, you know, hearing him respectfully take the back seat and not even try to rap against these two, I think is awesome. And I think that if, considering this is his first like major studio album, I believe, if he carried that throughout the next 15 years of his career and kind of stuck to that pocket, I think we could have gotten something beautiful. But, you know.
I really liked the whole song.
You did?
I really thought it was great. I don't know. I also, it's so early in his career that it's almost like you're like hearing him like kind of figure out his future. And
Oof, bar. I like that.
I really like that about it, you know? And I like hearing that in artists in general, just kind of like hearing their earlier work and being like, oh, it's almost like you can kind of hear the roots, like kind of like, you know, planting themselves. And I just kind of feel like that is in this song, you know? And obviously the jaw-dropping moments at the tail end there is just, my jaw literally dropped. I make eye contact with George. I'm like holding my head. I'm like, no fucking way these guys are on this song. You know, I had no clue. Yeah. I had absolutely no clue. If I listened to that, you know, back then when it dropped, I wouldn't have cared. I care now because, you know, but.
This album's stacked with features, by the way, not to derail you.
No, it's fine.
You got those two, you got Rihanna, you got Kendrick, you got The Weeknd. You got Rick Ross. Like, this album is fucking stacked.
Yeah,
with
that's
features.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's just I like the instrumental. Yeah, those features definitely, you know, 200% enhance the song. You can't deny that. But you know, I really like how he sounds. I don't think Drake has ever been a crazy lyricist. Once again, in all of our songs, really, he hasn't said anything crazy.
No.
You know? And I think in all of them, and even looking at ours, Kobe, like, compare what he said in yours, compare what he said in mine, and look how different those two songs are. And like him saying literally nothing in mine worked a lot better, in my opinion, than him saying nothing in yours. And I think his lyrics worked better in this one a lot more than yours, Kobe. I just don't like yours. But I don't know. As I said, fucking standing on business right now. All right, yeah. So I'm just gonna talk over that one. Yeah. I'm talking over it, Kobe. But yeah, man, I think you can definitely hear him figuring it out. I think he sounds good. I think his vocals honestly sound better than in parts of Nice for What. Honestly, it definitely sounds better than in 80% of Scorpion. I will fucking 100% say that. Yeah, and these features are just great. I would have loved to hear Wayne stick around for a little longer, man. But hey, I'll take it.
You know he can't.
Yeah.
You know he can't. I love Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne's one of my favorites, but he can't. He can't do that. Not against Andre, man.
Well, no, and there's an awareness there, right? There's definitely an awareness there. But yeah, man, I'm really happy you brought this here because I would have never known about it. And I'm definitely going to give that another listen. I mean, is it something that I can put in my playlist and just have on loop? Probably not. You know, it's pretty long. How long is it actually?
That was like almost 6 minutes.
About 6 minutes long.
5:22.
It felt long. I was enjoying it for that first listen, so it didn't feel long. But I mean, yeah, that first half is probably going to drag in time.
You could easily cut one of the Drake verses, if you want to call them verses. But
yeah,
but yeah. But that could just also be we're used to shorter songs nowadays. You know,
that's a part of it.
That's 2011. It's a much different time. That's pre Good Kid.
Yeah,
you know, that's pre. Maybe Cole. I know Cole's debut was in 2011, but I don't know.
I don't know the exact dates.
Yeah, exactly.
This came out. Take Care came out in 2011.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, that's a damn good song though.
It's interesting you brought up the Weeknd comparisons earlier because it does kind of feel like he's trying to do the Weeknd R&B sort of thing.
Absolutely.
But again, the difference is that the Weeknd can what is it called? Sing? The Weeknd can do that, right?
Yeah.
And Aubrey with respect
Talk your shit.
With respect to the former Degrassi guy, cannot do that.
Embarrassing.
It is for him, and that's what I'm saying. That said, he's made billions of dollars, and I've made very little. So it's not really, you know, it's. I don't know. For me, it just didn't do enough for me. Because you know what's interesting? To go from like 7 years after this, where it's this fucking the song you played, where it's stacked to the fucking gills with like not features, but like fucking production and
Layers.
and samples, layers.
Yeah.
It's hyperactive. You almost feel like it's surrounding
It's like
you.
overstimulating.
It's so much, and this is so stripped back. And then you think of the two together, and you're like, "Fuck, we really should go back to what we were just doing," because I just don't feel like he's interesting on his own here. You know what I mean? And you can tell because he's fucking swamped by two guys who, again,
Yeah.
full disclosure, I don't think this is the best Andre or Lil Wayne verse I've heard.
No, fuck no, fuck no.
But even them at their most, like, even if you want to call this middling, are just swamping him in terms of intrigue and in terms of character and in terms of voice. Like,
Yeah.
again, Andre
Their energy.
talks about Adele on this, and it's the only thing I'm going to remember when I go home.
You've said that 4 times.
It's awesome. I mean, come on. Why are we not talking about it enough? He said, listening to Adele, I feel you, baby. Someone like you, more like someone unlike you. Like, what the fuck?
To give Drake one final credit, we came into this, we all knew that we had to pick a Drake song, but completely uncoordinated. We did not discuss prior which Drake songs we were going to pick.
Right.
And out of 3 random polls from 3 different personalities, we got a basketball song,
Yep.
we got a prom song, and we got a sex song. So his versatility is apparent, and we just proved that by accident. But that's Drake for you.
No. All right.
All right, that is almost hour 1 down to the dot.
Jesus wept.
We are at 59 minutes and 55 seconds right now. How are we feeling? Do we need a pause, a coffee refill, anything?
I mean, I'm good.
I do.
You do? Yeah,
I
that's
do.
fine.
All right, we'll take a pause.
Quick break.
All right, we're back. So we just had Drake
Moving into Silver Place now.
moving into Jermaine Lamar Cole, not to be confused with Kendrick Lamar Duckworth or Aubrey Lamar Graham.
Not his middle name.
What is it?
It's not. There's no way it's Lamar. There's just no way.
It's Drake. It's Drake.
Thank you.
Yeah, J. Cole. J. Cole. A lot of disrespect being thrown J. Cole's way lately, and I'm not here for it.
God, this is gonna be a whole other hour.
I'm not here for it at all.
This is the one that I was very antsy to get to because I know how strong a J. Cole supporter
This is
you
why
are.
you wanted to get going again.
I'm a huge J. Cole supporter.
We know.
Is he better than Kendrick? No.
No.
But
No.
the disrespect that J. Cole's been getting lately,
No.
fucking gross.
It's
gross.
I have entire pages of text messages he's been sending me about this.
I haven't seen that much of it.
It's everywhere, man. Everyone's been shitting on J. Cole. Or if they're not shitting on him, they're just expressing their disappointment in him. But, like, if the man doesn't want to beef with the king, he doesn't want to beef with the king. It's not that hard. He's someone who loves the music, and he doesn't want to take shots at his favorite peer. Like, oh, shit, you know? Like, I don't give a fuck if the internet wants me to beef with one of you guys. I'm not going to do it if I don't want to do it.
Still waiting for that record to drop.
Still waiting for that record to drop.
My thing is, this is the way I feel, and I've said this to you before. I'm totally of the belief that it's like if you don't want to have a beef with someone, don't have a beef with someone. That's fine. That's not my thing. Is this? I don't understand making the song, spending all this time with supposedly with it weighing on your conscience, because he did not record that in a week and get it. That was like a couple weeks of it being mixed and mastered, at least 2 weeks, right? If it's so heavy on his conscience and he feels so shitty about it and he's the artist that we think he is, why did he let it drop in the first place? If he knew it was going to be lame. And to me, it feels like this. I don't know for sure. You actually sent me a very good write-up on why you think he did it. And I get that. My thing is this. First of all, J. Cole is what, 55 years old? How old is he?
No, he's not.
He's probably like 35.
Damn.
He's probably
gotta
like
be like late
My
30s.
guess is
39.
He's 35 is my guess.
He's 39 years old.
God bless. So the point is this: he's a grown man who's able to use his words so eloquently. And the thing that he said at the concert, where he said, I didn't even like doing that. It's the lamest shit I ever did. First of all, big of him to admit that. That is big. But my thing is this: if he felt that way, and it seems like he felt that way the whole time, why release it at all? You shouldn't release it at all. You shouldn't. I'm sorry.
I understand. But J. Cole's advantage over both Kendrick and Drake, and I've told you this, is that he's the most human. Out of the big 3, he is the most relatable. I could have a conversation with J. Cole and not be nervous.
He walks the streets of
He walks the streets.
America like all the time. He was
Yeah.
at the protests like casually.
He's like three stacks.
It's a meme, but J. Cole really is that guy in a white T-shirt on his bike. You know, he really is that guy. He's human. He's a dude. He's chill. He doesn't try to like, you know, we can be super pessimistic and say, oh, this is just for marketing. But at the same time, like, I don't see that out of J. Cole. He's not that type of dude. He wouldn't embarrass himself like that for marketing.
In the spirit of him being human, it sounds like this. It's this saying that I heard once. It doesn't sound like he's upset that he did it. It sounds like he's upset that he got caught making something trash.
I don't know, though. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he just made
Not
a
the
mistake.
album. I will say this: where I'm on your side, I think the album is pretty decent. The song weighs it down and bloats it, and it's good that he took it off. Because honestly, listening to it again, that song doesn't even fit from a sound standpoint.
It's
with
the
the rest of
outro.
it.
It's weird that it's like
It
the
doesn't
outro.
even. It doesn't even sound like the
It
rest
was
of the
tacked
album.
on. It was tacked on.
Right. So it's actually better that it's off. The album itself is minus a couple songs and a couple moments that
Fever.
that I have some real pie.
Sativa.
That I have some
Yeah.
real that I find to be real egregious and stupid. Outside of that, it's a fine record. It's just that one song is weighing it down because it's trash. But like, I don't know. We can, you know.
You know, again, I just think it adds to J. Cole's already established character. That's why all this like discourse is so shocking to me, because we've known J. Cole as a person. We've had like 15 years worth of J. Cole's personality put on display for us, and this is completely J. Cole. It is who he is. He's human. He makes mistakes.
Yeah, to give in to peer pressure and then make something shit. I know.
Sure. Yeah, but he's, you know, he's been here for so long.
Right.
But also, 75% of his career. Again, we're going to reference the jokes, but there's, you know, to quote J. Cole himself, there's truth in the jokes. Like, J. Cole, for the longest time, no features, produced all his own shit. You know, talked about his life in particular. This whole phase of J. Cole coming out and like rapping aggressively and talking all this competitive shit, that's very, very new.
Yeah.
He's still green in that area.
Being competitive?
Absolutely.
He's talking about being number one on all of his records. Competitive, I don't.
This is new though.
The beef.
This is recent.
The super beef, the way that it's unfolded. Yes, I agree with you, and your expertise on the matter I will yield to. But what I'm saying, the stuff I've heard, I have not heard a single record all the way through where he is not saying competitive shit about him being the best.
But all those are features or from his last two projects.
No, on his own shit, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but that's nothing pre-2019. He wasn't doing that shit. I mean, if he was, it was like in his first album in like 2011 when he's still like in the glam pop like rap era that he was in for a little bit. It really wasn't a great time. But that was just, you know, even he admitted it in some of his albums in the middle of the career. He's like, yeah, my early stuff, like a lot of it was just me trying to beat Drake.
Right.
But this whole like competitive, like I'm the best rapper thing, that's all post 2019. Like it's all new.
Listen,
He's just dropped a fuck ton of verses since then.
in light of my not knowing all of it the way you do, I will yield to that. Again, my only opinion on it was, and we will get into the actual music.
Absolutely.
I feel like, first of all, what I will say about the backlash to him, what I'm seeing now is people being like, no, J. Cole got out just in time before it turned really weird and personal. Actually, I'm seeing that he's being viewed as really sage about that. However, the only other thing I'll say is just to rehash what I said before. I feel like if you're as well spoken as you are and you feel the way that you do, and if he had just given that speech at the Dreamville Fest that they had, if he had just given that speech at the start and said, you know, I had my verse saying what I said on the Drake record, he had a verse on the Future record saying pretty much what I said, just using a swear, and if anything, it's more about Drake than about J. Cole. But if he had just come out and said that at first and said, you know what, it's all love, he's great, I'm not going to go at him like that, that's just not the bag I want to be in, which is what he said afterwards. If he had said that at the start, I would have been like, you know, hey, cool, good, I get it. It'd be interesting to see you guys spar, but cool.
Yeah, but he made a mistake.
I'm not denying
He just
that.
made a mistake.
Obviously.
Like I understand, like your sentiment's a very common one where it's like, yeah, if he was going to apologize for it, he should have just not done it. But it's also like, he didn't know how he was going to feel about it until he did it.
And we haven't even gotten to the music yet.
No. Any thoughts on J. Cole?
I just
Lately?
hearing you guys buck it out a little bit. No, I mean, he's out. I don't know. Yeah, I really have no thoughts.
I will say I've seen him referred to as the first casualty of rap World War III or whatever it's called, and it's fucking hilarious. I think that's so funny that like he just died immediately.
It's kind of funny.
It is funny. I love J. Cole.
Yep.
You know, fucking one of my favorites for sure. I think he deserves to be in the top 3, but him failing the beef within minutes is fucking hilarious, dude.
It kind of reiterates some points that we were saying at the start. I don't know if we spoke about it on the podcast. We've definitely spoken about it personally, and I'm actually curious if you agree with this. At the start, the way it came out, it didn't seem like he even wanted to be part of the beef when he said it. That's the other thing too. That's why I think that he was really sure that he shouldn't have released it after he was like rapping, because the verse, in addition to the first half being this silly willy ass beat, in addition to that, it's just really not well put together. And he doesn't sound like he wants to be talking about it. It's these jabs that are just so like, all right. He doesn't even sound committed to the idea. You know what I mean? It just sounds so not, you know what I mean?
It's just a weird like predicament. I don't know. The timing of everything, I don't know where I stand. You guys seem to be on just opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to like, like the upload for Spotify and like the mixing and yada, yada, yada. I tend to lean more towards like it was more of like a quicker rollout type thing, you know, in terms of his, I don't know like how much information is like, you know, out on like his writing process. The song is literally called 7-Minute Drill. You know, they usually do that alluding to, you know, the speed of them, you know, just pumping it out. I don't know the logistics of uploading to Spotify, uploading albums and all of that. I have no clue. I don't look into that. You know, I don't know actually what's going through his mind emotion-wise after hearing the diss. Who knows? And then when it actually comes out, you know, how does he actually react? The sales, it definitely helped the sales, right? It stayed up for a little bit. You know, he apologized, but then it stayed up a little bit longer, right? So what could it really be? Are we overthinking it? Could just be overthinking it.
Absolutely.
The whole apology is a weird video for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with George that he doesn't strike me as like he's just not an aggressive like person. He's definitely like a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah.
Even, you know, so it's like I don't really know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Fair.
I'm sure he's glad he's eliminated himself.
Oh my God.
I will say too, I don't know if he's actually going to partake in anything, but I've seen speculation that, you know, J. Cole submitting, you know, showing his belly to Kendrick is going to inspire a lot of other rappers to come take shots at him. I've seen like a few up-and-comers have already tried to do that, trying to fill the big 3. And I don't know if J. Cole would do it, but I think any other beef he would kill. He would absolutely kill. I think that's the best thing he could possibly do. You know, if someone of lesser critical acclaim comes after him and J. Cole responds with just like a obliterating diss track, I think that would be the perfect thing for
So
him.
you think his strength is punching down?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That did word weird. But I think that...
I was half fucking with you, but I'm interested to hear what you say about
No,
that.
because that's a good point. That's a good point. You're forcing me to elaborate on what I'm saying, which is good because...
Podcast, baby.
Yeah, I don't want him to punch down. You know, like I don't want him to do another diss track to Lil Pump. I don't.
I do.
I want like, and I'm not saying this would ever happen. I'm just thinking of people in this lane
Yeah,
or
no,
something. I
sure.
want like a Joey Badass. Or
Interesting.
like a Big Crit or an ASAP Rocky or someone
Interesting.
of equal respect. Not necessarily sales or status, but someone of equal respect from his class. I want them to come at him, and I have full confidence that he could destroy anybody.
I'd be very intrigued to see any of those spars take place. Yeah.
I absolutely think that could happen. I think that the biggest problem with Kendrick is not that he's scared of Kendrick. I don't think that's ever been the case, that he's worried about Kendrick in a rap battle. I just think he doesn't want to diss, you know, someone who's been so influential in his own genre. He just loves the genre. He loves the music. And how do you fucking hate To Pimp a Butterfly?
There's not a bunch to say about him. That's
exactly.
The thing. He's
It's
short.
like-
He's short. Okay, he's what 5'6" and 6 feet tall. If he's standing on his money, isn't that the line?
Yeah,
Like
so-
what are we talking about? So
Yeah.
that I will say, and this is the last thing I will say about it. The worst thing, not J. Cole's fault. The worst thing to come out of this is 15-year-olds talking about how bad T-Pap is. That's the worst thing to come out of this.
Absolutely.
That is, and not his fault. Him having his stands on Twitter be like, so are we finally ready to talk about To Pimp a Butterfly not being good? And I'm like, are you 17?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
But-
we have no
so,
idea.
So we're going to get into it.
We're gonna get into it. Your first song, J. Cole.
It's J. Cole, and it's J. Cole was an interesting research project for me because, as I said at the start, I like J. Cole. I definitely had my phase with J. Cole. He has not really been in my rotation for a very long time. I just don't feel influenced to go out of my way to listen to him. However, and I think that will speak based on what I have done, is I have picked a J. Cole song with Benny the Butcher off of Tana Talk 4 called Johnny P's Caddy.
Song's awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Alchemist is not, I think, physically capable of missing on a beat. I don't think he is. Remember?
YouTube keeps auto playing to the next song, and it's fucking up the copyright ghost keeps rearing its ugly head.
I think it'll be fine.
Alchemist is not capable of missing on a beat. Thank God Cole stopped rapping on his own production. I love Cole production, but man, he can murder anything.
This is kind of actually an interesting point you brought up.
Yeah.
When I was going through, again, doing a little bit of extra listening on this, I went through the This Is J. Cole playlist a little bit.
Oh, God.
So this is my thing about it, right? I know. It's very normy. My thing is this. J. Cole, to me, is a very gifted lyricist. I don't think anyone could deny that. It is just impossible to deny. And he has a really distinct flow. To me, what was catching me, what was really making it a little bit difficult is maybe it's just because I've been on such a fucking TPAB heater recently, just listening to it over and over again. It's possible.
Is that what you use to go to bed?
TPAB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to the poem that he speaks to Tupac over and over again. It's really soothing. My thing is this. I actually listen to just the screams on You. Yeah. So I just feel like the issue is this. Sometimes, one of the complaints that gets lobbed at J. Cole sometimes is that he's boring. It is. So I just feel like I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's boring, but some of his stuff, production-wise, can be. Some of his delivery is very straightforward. He's not putting inflections on. The samples aren't always fucking crazy. And I think putting him in an environment like this where he's forced to sort of match the energy of an Alchemist beat of a fucking Benny the Butcher verse, to have to match that, because we've spoken about Griselda before. Love Griselda. Their energy and shit is really unmatched about it. And I think J. Cole was forced to sort of stop playing cool and start jumping to their pace a little bit. And I think he works really well in those instances. You know what I mean?
He does.
So-
He does. I mean, he says it all over this verse. He's never rapped about being like a drug dealer, never really rapped about like killing people or anything like that. But here he is bodying Benny the Butcher. Benny did great on this song. He had a great verse.
Benny sounds awesome.
J.
sounds
Cole
so cool.
washes him on this song. It's ridiculous. I can't believe he made this the intro. I love you, Benny. Great music. Seriously, like great stuff. But damn, he gets fucking smoked.
Benny's pretty consistent too.
He is, but he gets fucking smoked. How do you smoke a drug dealer, bro? like the big three of Griselda.
We got to do a Griselda episode too at some point.
We got to do a Griselda episode.
Are you upset that I keep calling Griselda? I saw you wince when I called it Griselda.
No, I reacted there because it's just like that's just a good episode.
Yeah.
It's a good episode idea.
We can have you back on to do that. I fucking love Griselda.
Yeah, I like having three people for a three-man thing. Yeah. We'll do a
Three-man's
Conway,
fun.
Three-man.
Conway West Side Benny because they all deserve their respect.
Three
too,
man. We
but-
Estee Knack too. Estee Knack is fucking absurd. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, J. Cole.
On the
that's just
night I
what I
was
gotta
born,
say. Yeah.
the rain was pouring. God was crying.
He comes in so strong. He
Crazy
just,
lines.
He just rides the beat so well. I don't know. He just sounds so good. Like this song. It's kind of funny because like the name of it, Johnny P's Caddy. Like it's a song that like you want to like smoke a J to like in a car, just kind of cruise at night. It's like it's so like soothing in a sense because of that, and it's like Benny the Butcher.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Benny the Butcher's song, but it has like that sound to it. And then J. Cole comes in and like just as you said, George, just fucking murders it. Just like takes it, and it's like his song all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He just, it's like half and half, but like when J. Cole comes in, it's just like, it's his. It's totally his. And he crushes it. He tops it off. Pause.
There you go.
And makes it his own. He makes that noise. That should be the outro. Yeah, but it's just, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, there's a reason why J. Cole's on this song, on this album. There's a reason why J. Cole, Wet Dreams J. Cole,
Wet
on
Dreams, J. Cole.
He's on
Holy
a
shit.
Benny the Butcher intro with verse of the year.
I think the thing that Griselda does, they do so many things obviously fucking well because they're awesome. But one of the things that you can probably find as a common denominator through pretty much all their stuff, at least all the stuff that I can recall off the top of my head, including Estenac, who I'm going to keep mentioning until I'm able to get an episode where I put him on this show. They do really well at, the only way I can describe their production just as like a unit is like supervillain music.
Yeah.
They do supervillain music. And I think J. Cole works really well when he's playing a supervillain, not, peace and love, which, he does a lot of. But I think supervillain music is a good pocket for him to be in because he's just, there's this aggression about it. And it's got some fucking teeth. And I love music that has some fucking teeth. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I don't know if I'd call him supervillain on this song. But I will say about J. Cole, and this is going to work with my song too, and I think to an extent your song as well, Dom, which we're going to cut to very soon. But I think with J. Cole, part of what makes shit like this punch so hard is, I'm going to keep harping on it, but J. Cole's ability to be relatable. He's the big brother of rap. You listen to it, it's very easy to understand what he's saying despite how hard it is. He's like the best storyteller out of the big three. I'll die on that hill. Kendrick says some crazy shit. He's got some crazy shit,
George.
But in terms of like,
Damn, I don't know. Have you heard More Life? You sure? I don't know.
What did you just say? More life?
Yeah, come on. Now, what are we talking about?
Wow. You need to get that shit together so we can be together. Yeah, come on.
but I say all that to say, J. Cole's a very comforting presence in his own discography.
Yeah.
It's all him. It's all personal stories. He admits his faults constantly, still does to this day, on and off the record. But when Big Brother has to go outside and throw hands, it's scary. It's scary. He's good. There's a reason why he's Big Brother. He's the oldest out of the big three, but he's Big Brother.
I didn't realize how old he was until I looked it up a few minutes ago.
56.
Yeah,
He's going on AARP. He was talking about going on AARP on the most recent
beat me
album.
to the joke.
Sorry.
Oh my god! If you listen to that audio, you can hear me start saying AAR.
Do you want to cut that and we can do another shot of him saying the joke?
redo it?
no.
Can we?
We start the episode.
Let's go again.
All right.
Awesome.
Dom.
All right, I want to preface mine with you said, Kobe, that like he's very boring, and I would like to shove that down your throat.
I said that was the scholarship. That was the scholarly opinion on him.
I would like to shove that down your throat right now. So I would like to say and give credit to J. Cole because his evolution, I think, has been absolutely insane. Where, Wet Dreams, J. Cole,
Folding clothes, J. Cole.
Close, J. Cole.
His stuff, like when he was a lot younger, was just so like, oh my god,
Humble beginnings.
For me, you just can't listen to it. I don't know. It's very tough on the ears for me. There's still some good stuff, right? Always, right? You're an artist, but his evolution is just so like. It's better and for the most part. It's just better and better. Some speed bumps along the way, which you alluded to. But especially in recent time, his stuff has just been so top notch. And recently, he's really been saying how he's in his prime now.
Exactly. I was going to
And
mention that.
he really, it feels like he really is.
He is.
Like he
is.
really like on Might Delete Later. He says it a lot, even on the off season, which I'm pulling from the off season. He says it too, and like he's kind of right.
Yeah.
He's kind of right. I decided to choose. I picked the intro, 95 South, from the off season, and I say we listen to it, and then I will react to your comment on him being boring.
J.
So
Cole,
let's go
95.
into it.
Holy shit, a Lil Jon feature. What the fuck?
Dude, thank God he went back to features. This is his first solo song, I believe, since he decided to start using features again. Like, this is the first song off the first project where he returned to like features.
Sorry,
on
I'm
the
just
solo
waking
work.
up. I fell asleep during that. Sorry.
And Lil Jon and Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron,
crazy.
Cameron being on J. Cole
Filthy.
songs is so funny.
I-
It's so fun.
I am very big on intros. First of all, I always have been. I think
Intros to albums or intros to songs?
intros to albums.
Got it.
I am very big on intros. I want an intro to obviously it's an intro needs to encapsulate the whole album, get you in the mood, yada yada yada. But I think this song just really oozes confidence. I think it's just he comes in fucking bat out of hell, yelling at you. What's up, motherfucker? I'm here. It's the fucking off season. We offing motherfuckers. You know,
Bitch, my pen and the paper's lethal. Oh.
you know.
awesome.
He just has a confidence to him. You know. Cameron's there. Lil Jon is just fucking yelling at the end. You know.
Cameron's there.
No, he really, and you know, like right at the, you know,
Yeah.
it's the off season. You know, it's really cool. The progression of the actual song is really cool. You know, he's rapping at first, but the actual progression of his verses is nuts because like he's like building up from like beginning to end where he starts like belting out with like a little auto tune and he's like singing by the end of like his second verse and there's like a little tinge of auto tune in there. You notice that? There's like this weird progression. Yahweh. You know, it's just an interesting decision and I think it's fucking badass. You know?
Yeah.
I just think it's fucking epic. And I think it's just a really good preface to a really killer album. And I just don't think he's boring at all. That's all. I understand like the universal like claims like he can be boring. He's on boring beats sometimes, and I just think like at this point in the off season, also is he still in that basketball league? He's off. He's done doing that, right?
I haven't seen much about it lately. But
Right. He's done with that.
I don't-
because this was during that. Right.
I don't
That was
think
like
he's. I don't think he's doing it. He's 39.
well, what year was this?
he was playing basketball professionally a couple years
This was
ago.
20.
No,
this
I
was
know.
2021 Kobe.
No, I know, but I'm saying like he was playing at this time, and now he's 39 and he's not. You
Yeah,
said
but
he's
this is the
playing now.
off. I'm just. I'm not having this conversation right now. But
I'm telling you. Sorry.
I'm not saying this to pit them against each other because that's been too much of a conversation lately. But I think a song like this, and a lot of recent Cole especially, is the reason why Drake is so unneeded.
yeah.
Because Cole is filling that spot. All of Drake's like heavy rap focused cuts, which he's been leaning into a lot more lately, like the sort of like we mentioned, easy to listen to, like sports game rap, radio rap, all that stuff. J. Cole
Listen to this
washes
shit.
him. Yeah,
Imagine this in a stadium.
it'd be perfect.
It'd be fucking
It'd be
awesome.
perfect.
They don't do it,
Yeah.
but it'd be awesome.
High school kids coming out to this at their football games and shit, it'd be the coolest thing in the world. Like, I think, and again, this is a personal preference thing. This is my opinion, but given their similarity in styles, he's like J. Cole is to blame as to why I think Drake is as stale as he is.
Interesting.
I mean, you can hear from two songs that we've chosen how stale Drake is.
Yeah.
There's
already,
never
yeah.
an argument there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It's not. I don't know. Like I was never. I never.
It's also just an intro.
the most important part of the album. Yeah. I think that it's. I'm agreeing with you. I love intros too, but I'm saying like, it's good. There's no, it's good. I'm interested.
Yeah, I was just saying. I wasn't necessarily challenging you.
I know you're not.
I was just. I'm happy you brought up that point.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go down the whole discussion of like his evolution anyways. Whereas like in more recent time, the off season now being, 2021, which is actually kind of crazy.
Shit.
But the off season, being 2021, where it's like these more recent albums have just been so rich in production now. He has these features. His rapping has just been so hard, the rapping. And I don't mind when he sings a little bit. Personally, J. Cole, I like his voice. I actually think it's better than Drake's.
There's a time and place.
Wow. High bar.
There's a time and place.
He's been getting better about knowing when that time and place
Exactly,
is.
exactly. But that's not why I listen to J. Cole, right? People go out of their way to be like, I want to hear Drake sing, which is crazy.
That's insane.
But J. Cole, man, the rapping right now is just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And at least for me, like really here at the off season, like when I remember driving actually back to Vermont, listening to this because it dropped driving back, and I was like, holy shit, this is a ride. Literally, I'm literally driving back a ride home, but like this is a fucking ride. And like the stuff, even like the stuff like right before the off season was really good. He did the LA Leakers freestyle right before this came out. I don't know if Kobe, you listened to his LA Leakers freestyle. He went on LA Leakers. Oh my fucking god, listen to it. He went on. He did a freestyle like right before this album came out, like at advertising it, and it was unbelievable. Check it out. And it's a good preface to the whole album. And yeah, and everything since this point has just been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I totally agree. He's just like filling like that rap gap, that hype rap. that like Drake doesn't need to be there for, and people think Drake is there for, which is odd. Great song.
Absolutely. I know how you feel about intros, considering every song you've brought in this week, Kobe, has been an intro.
The 2 songs I brought in, every song.
3.
2.
All 3 of your songs are intros.
Oh, I was like, we haven't gotten to the third one yet. That's not part of the canon yet. We don't know.
All right, I'm sorry.
It could be. It could be in the middle. We don't know.
I broke the time loop.
We don't know. We don't know anything.
But my J. Cole song right now is an outro. And
Well, I'm fucking leaving then.
I cannot wait to listen to this song.
dude,
What is it?
listen. I don't expect either of you to be recently invested enough in the J. Cole discography to fight me on this. I'm more so just throwing this claim out into the universe. This album is, to this point, prime J. Cole. To this point. Now, we're talking about prime J. Cole in terms of his rapping, in terms of his ability to hold your attention, be aggressive, kill features, but he hasn't really dropped a cohesive concept album since 2018. You know, off season, technically an album, really good, but it kind of has that mixtape feel.
It definitely
it's a
does.
warm up.
It's also like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And he even described it as like, you know, a warm up to the fall off, because it's always been his basketball thing, has been his mixtapes, you know, the come
Yeah.
up, Friday Night Lights, off season. Like that, it's just
Yeah.
kind of his
I
style.
almost picked Workout.
Did you really?
I knew you guys were going to get mad if I did, so I did.
That would have been.
If he did that, I would have played his apology song for Workout.
That song's awesome. I don't fucking care.
Let Nas down?
I don't care. That song's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just don't fucking care.
Big ol' range or whatever he does on that song.
Yeah, it's awesome.
horrible.
No, it's sick.
horrible.
You're wrong. Fuck you. It's sick. I'm sorry.
Wrong.
Wow.
There's more offensive songs out there, but
Yeah, we just listened to 3 by Drake.
this is the outro to For Your Eyes Only. This is J. Cole's best album. Kill me. This is J. Cole's best album. He takes a concept, and he doesn't have the caliber that Kendrick has. He doesn't have the dynamism of a Kendrick or the reach. But this is an album where he was still in his I'm going to produce everything phase. I'm going to have no features phase. This is a solo handcrafted work where the entire album follows a perspective that's not his, talking about a lot of the same issues that were on To Pimp a Butterfly, just on a much more narrow pinpoint scale. And just as a personal story of one man who was his friend, this album is fucking beautiful. He handles everything himself. People like to shit on folding clothes. It's on this album, but it's a part of the concept. What can I say? You know, you listen to For Free by Kendrick out of context. Like what?
It bangs, yeah.
It bangs, but like, what is this? You
I
know?
just thought of the Drake song For Free with DJ
Oh
Khaled.
yeah.
This sex so good, I shouldn't have to fuck for free. Right? That's what I thought of when you said that. Isn't that fucking terrible?
Yeah, no,
I'm in the Drake mindset. Isn't that fucking terrible?
The DJ Khaled concept album.
Oh my
run.
God.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking idiot. Let's play.
awesome.
Let's play the song.
All right. This is J. Cole For Your Eyes Only. You gotta respect J. Cole. You gotta respect J. Cole. I'm gonna kill a motherfucker who says this album's bad. And this is his magnum opus so far. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. For Your Eyes Only, J. Cole, let's get it. We back. We back. I'm looking at 6 sets of tears right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling puddles at my feet.
Damn dog. Whatever. You guys can fucking talk about it. I'm just gonna sit in the fucking corner.
He keeps doing it.
I'm gonna go get tissues.
I know. Your microphone dial here is right next to the music dial, so I'm like panicking and shutting it off before YouTube autoplays the next song.
Just pause it.
I don't want the click to be in the audio either. I'm trying to be careful, but
Yeah.
all right.
I get it.
Talk your shit. Kobe, you awake?
He's crying.
It's just really hard, you know? It's just really difficult. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, I will go first.
Sorry.
No, yeah. I first of all, I don't remember that song being that long. I haven't heard it in like a really long time. But I also don't think I've heard that album in its entirety, to my knowledge. So, what is the like overarching not the premise, I guess, but is there like an overarching premise to the
Absolutely.
album?
So every song in the album, so 2014 Forest Hills Drive, the concept of the album is it follows every stage of J. Cole's life.
Yeah.
Right? Like it starts with his birthday, he's born, baby noises, then it goes to wet dreams, he's a kid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. and it ends with where J. Cole is now. This album is the same thing, but it's from the perspective of his friend who is still trapped in like poor circumstance. So it starts with this very, I don't know if you remember like the song For Whom the Bell Tolls, the intro to this. It's very witchy. It's very shaman-like. It's like summoning this guy to life. And then every song that follows is this guy's life. Even the hits, like even Deja Vu, where a song about him meeting a girl in a club. It's not J. Cole's perspective. It's the perspective of his friend. So it goes through like this guy being brought up, you know, meeting a girl, falling in love with her, having a daughter. It goes through like there's a song called Change. It's one of his better songs where it kind of highlights his friend's philosophy, and his friend was like this very deep thinker about all these like sort of racial issues and shit.
That's one of the hits, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then even Folding Clothes, like people clown on it, but there's a whole second half to that song where like the goofy beat ends and it gets really dark and depressing, talking about like from his friend's perspective, like I can't fucking believe I'm able to fold clothes on my wife and watch Netflix and eat cereal when like my friends are dying and like it's a crazy step up. And then it gets to this song where you guys just heard it. Those first like 3 verses are all told from the friend's perspective, where he's like, I have this good life now. I've earned this for myself, but it's not enough. So I still have to resort to this crime, and I still have to do this shit to support this like beautiful life that I have. Even if it is just like middle America shit, it's still like a crazy accomplishment for him. And then that final verse is the only time in the entire album where J. Cole is actually rapping from his own perspective.
Yeah, talking to the girl. Yeah,
it's the only verse where J. Cole is rapping as J. Cole. It's fucking awesome, dude.
It's crazy, and it's also like, it's a crazy decision to which I don't like. It once again, I haven't listened to the whole album, so I don't know his artistic choices like throughout in terms of like production. But it's, you know, essentially it's just like, you know, it's that instrumental and just rapping.
Yeah,
it's just the verses.
It's fucking
There
awesome.
is that little, you know, there is the female vocals right before that final verse. There's like that blending of J. Cole kind of like singing the chorus with like the female vocals. I don't really know like what that's about.
There's a few of that on the album. Ari Lennox is like a hidden feature on the album. She does the hook for one of the songs, but it's still listed as an album with no features because none of them really have a strong presence. It's more so he's just using like some people he knows as like cilantro here and there.
Yeah.
He's just like sprinkling it in.
Yeah. No, but that's a crazy move though, just to kind of have like a insanely long outro like that of just a dude rapping on a beat with some very intense source material, which it's intense source material throughout the whole thing, right? But it just to kind of have like those closing moments just to end like that is just pretty heart-shattering, to say the least, for sure.
Yeah. And as a follow-up to Forest Hills Drive, which is his commercial piece
Yeah,
so
that's
far,
crazy.
Yeah.
Which how
Meter
did
goes.
this isn't really a discussion for now, but how did the sales drop?
Sales
a
are really
lot?
good, but
Yeah.
a lot of people just didn't want it from him.
Probably just didn't get it though.
Yeah, it's the same thing with. It's a pretty very very close to the Mr. Morale situation for Kendrick, where it's like sales are good, it's successful, he is who he is, but like people didn't want that, despite how good it is. People just were expecting, you know, Drake. They were expecting party music and arena music, but then they got high art project. So
Yeah, that's crazy pacing. It's crazy like just placement of everything though. It's genius. That's a crazy outro. It's crazy. What do you think, Kobe?
I really like it. I don't know.
you don't have to.
No, I like it.
It leaves
All
you
right.
speechless for sure.
You kind of sort of summed it up. It's just really pretty and, well, maybe not pretty is not the right word. It's really well put together and it's really heartrending. I think there's a lot of little intricacies on it that I think when you have a song this long and a lyricist who's as like clever as he is, I think you can sort of cram a lot of really cool stuff into this that sort of flies over your head a little bit. There's a part in here where he's talking about, there's one line where he mentions the idea of salvation. And I don't remember where it is specifically, but there's one where it happens, and as he says it, you can hear like the sort of low, hard-boiled detective trumpets, which I do like because it sounds like it's off the LA Noire soundtrack. That's what I was thinking the whole time, and I mean that affectionately.
That's awesome. That is an awesome That's a good reference.
It's that's what it sounded like to me in a really good way. But
It adds to the whole like case file aesthetic.
exactly. It feels like a hard boiled like a noir.
Yeah.
If you will. But there's a part in it where they're talking about salvation, and for 1 second the horns are sort of dominated by a rising harp moment, and then the harp drifts away and you never hear it again. And it's very to put that into a song like this makes it feel very longing, like you're seeing to be dark about it, it's like you're in a black and white rainy movie, and then for 1 second you get to like watch like a minute of like The Wizard of Oz in like fucking like bright ass colors, and you're like, oh shit, and then it goes away and you're like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? It's very well done. He has a lot of texture and a lot of layers like that in this song that I caught. Like it actually reminded me a much longer version of the Biggie song where he's talking about killing himself to his friend on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's a very simple instrumental and there's rain, and it's the same idea where it's this guy going through really tough times and he's just talking all about it, and it's very surreal because it's like, oh, it kind of feels like you're listening to like a 911 call where you're like, oh shit, and there's an urgency to it. This one's obviously longer and more, I would call it more intimate, but it reminded me of the Biggie song where it's like this guy desperately reaching out for help given his circumstances, and he's just never going to be able to get it, and you know how it ends, which makes it more crushing. Like it feels like it's a very long walk downwards.
Oh yeah.
And it's really well done. It is. Again, no one should be denying his lyrical ability, his abilities as an artiste. You know what I mean? And it's true. And this speaks to that immensely. So, yeah. You know? I mean, hey.
Yeah, no, as excited as I am to see Cole branching out, going back to features, going back to like the battle rapper era of things, like there's a part of me that's always going to miss the sort of isolation chamber that he had for a while. There was a good stretch of time where it was just everything was handcrafted. And even around this time, like people were begging for him to come back after Forest Hills Drive. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like hip hop Twitter at that time was like, there was a meme every other day about J. Cole needs to drop. Where's J. Cole? Like he needs to, and then he comes out with shit like this.
Yeah.
And for most people, it's just like, oh, this isn't party music.
No.
But for me, it was like, you can just hear. And he didn't say a word this whole time. Like no interviews, nothing. Just dropped it and left. Like
yeah.
he just.
I think the difference, and this is kind of talking about the stratification, the real spectrum that we've created with these three guys, is that it's like Drake does really easy listening shit that you can hear wherever, and if you like really mid pop music, you can listen to him. And then there's like J. Cole who does drop, battle rap stuff like 95 South, like we heard, like very in your face stuff that you don't need to be listening to a concept album to hear, but he also does stuff like this, very lyrical artiste. The third gentleman who we are going to talk about is able to blend those together, because T-Pab is not even an essence. T-Pab is a concept album. It really is. It's got hidden, not at all hidden. It's got like through lines the entire time. It's about the experience of the black man in America, very much like this song specifically. The reason why Kendrick, I think, is so, to me, far and away number one in this conversation is because he can do this level of J. Cole stuff. Maybe not level, that's not fair. He can do this sort of a lyrical thing and also have fucking George Clinton like singing over it and have Parliament Funkadelic synths and stabs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And also randomly have a Snoop Dogg feature and a phone call from Dr. Dre. And you're like, oh my God, the gang's all here. You know what I mean? Not to compare this to Kendrick, though that is the essence of this podcast. That's sort of why I think it's a spectrum. And it's why, to me, Drake's a pop star, J. Cole's a lyricist and a rapper and an artist, and Kendrick is all of those.
I just feel like one sticks out like a sore thumb.
And which one's that?
I wonder. Yeah. Everybody get your motherfucking roll on. It's just, I don't know, dude. And we haven't even gotten to Kendrick yet. But
we're rounding out hour 2 right now.
I know,
Holy
yeah. No, we'll get there in a second.
shit.
But we haven't even gotten to like the tail end. But it's kind of crazy, It's like even just hearing this one song, like they're all different. Like they're different. There's some more overlap with like Cole and Kendrick, but it's apparent to me that just one is especially drastically different from the other two. That's all I'm going to say before we get to the final part.
It's why you need to enter these conversations with, yes, there's a big three of hip hop, which again, the hip hop and rap umbrellas are still confusing to me because I don't know what falls under one and doesn't the other. It's a very weird Venn diagram thing. And also I think I came to rap in a very different path than you guys did. I had like a very love-hate relationship with it for a lot of years, and then I decided I wanted to try and be into it when I was in like high school. So like it's very much not like I didn't go through like the moments with you guys and stuff where you're talking about like, do you remember rap Twitter in when did this come out? 2016. Do you remember rap? And I'm like, no, I really fucking don't, because I listened to Damn in 2016 and thought that I was like,
Damn, you got it a whole year early?
He likes me so much. It's true. Wow. Well, even still, even then, like I didn't really try and get into it until a year later and shit. So, this is coming from like a different perspective on it. However, it's very interesting to see because again, Drake's not a rapper. He's just not, and he hasn't been in years. He's not. People can rap. That doesn't make them a rapper. We could come up with a song where we rap. We're not rappers.
We could rap.
That wouldn't make us rappers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I just want to close out by saying, like, anytime anyone says that J. Cole doesn't have a diamond in his discography, just forgetting about this. Granted, didn't get a lot of promo, didn't get a ton of radio play this album, but, like, he's got one. He's got a classic. I see it all the time. People say J. Cole doesn't have a classic. He's got one. It's right here. It's been here this whole time. Like, that's it. Yeah. That's it for me.
Yeah. So we are rounding out here. Believe it or not, we are in the home stretch, even though it has been. This is going to be a super sleeper suplex. I think that's what this thing is at this point. It's a triple S, much better than the double S. I think just in terms of a nomenclature thing, we'll work on it. The thing is this: we are now moving on to what I would consider, and I think what we, as a whole, would consider gold medal territory. This is the Kendrick Lamar section of today's telecast, right? So. I
thought the gold was Rick Ross. I brought the wrong song.
So
Maybach music.
this is not a Maybach music song, however. This is off of the already having been cited album To Pimp a Butterfly. Some would argue the best rap album of the past 20 years, I should say. 20 years. Some could say this is the best rap album of all time. I've heard both those arguments. Some could say this is the best rapper alive ever to be. We'll see.
It's top 3 best rap albums of all time. I'll say that.
Yeah. What's your number 1? Views? No?
If I say it, we're going to cause a fight.
Go ahead.
You want to start this fight now?
Oh my God!
We'll wait.
Can we,
We'll wait.
let's listen to the music, guys.
We started each of these hours with a fight.
Folks, we're not going to have a fight until after we listen to some more.
Can we just listen?
We're going to unite.
We're not going to dive into this.
Kobe, let's just listen to your third intro of the day,
I'm
please.
about to intro it. Give
You
me a
already
sec.
know what I'm going to say.
I do. And
You're
that's
egging me on.
I'm not. I'm trying to
You're
start.
J. Cole-ing me right
I'm
now.
not. I'm trying to start. We are going to listen to right now Wesley's theory off of To Pimp a Butterfly.
All right. Let's get into it.
If that song doesn't make you want to take your shirt off and spin it in a circle and run around the room, I don't know what the fuck's going to do it for you.
Hold up, bro.
I have
Hold
no
the
fucking
fuck up,
clue
bro.
what's going to do it for you, bro. I'm serious.
Damn, bro. Yeah, it's pretty damn near.
There's nothing really that we can say that hasn't been said about a million times because there's nothing like it is a perfect song. I'm sorry. It is a perfect song. It is. It has fucking Thundercat. It has George fucking Clinton from Parliament fucking Funkadelic.
Has everything.
It has a goddamn Dr. Dre on a phone call for some reason.
Phone.
It's produced by goddamn Flying Lotus. Like what more do you want? I mean, I didn't mean to pick 3 openers. Earnestly, I didn't. We're sort of goofing and gabbing. I didn't mean to do that. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the best intros of all time.
It's fucking. Oh my God, I could run through a brick wall when I hear that song. I love that shit.
It's so catchy.
Holy fuck,
Talk about bounce.
dude.
Yeah,
bounce.
think about like what the lyrics, dude. Like, I can't believe how bouncy it is for like what the fuck
This is what I'm saying.
I don't know who else could like masterfully like weave that shit together and have you like bounce to it. We should never give. Like it's crazy, man.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Which part?
As a music lover, as a rap lover, the 3 of us, as students of this culture,
Yeah.
you're completely right. It's a blend of catchiness, upbeat bounce with really deep, impactful social commentary. To the layman, to the greater world, this is not winning over a Drake song.
I don't necessarily deny that. What I will say is
When
this.
you say Kendrick is the perfect mix, that's for us. That's for the fans.
He has multiple pop hits on this record. He has multiple.
He does.
Pop hits?
All Right was all. He fucking played Blacker the Berry at the Oscars. That's not a pop hit, and he played it at the Oscars. No, the fucking Grammys.
You said
my
he
bad.
had pop hits.
He did. He has at least one fucking gold on this. At least one single. I'm just not remembering.
I wouldn't say those are pop songs, though.
I don't think they're pop hits.
What is pop short for? Popular? He has gold records on this thing.
You're right. I'm talking about pop as a sound, as a genre.
Yeah, I meant, I meant genre
Listen,
as well.
As a genre, you're right.
That's what I meant.
My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get so aggro. I really didn't. I'm so sorry.
Passionate about this album, man.
How could you not be? You know what I mean? It's got.
you got a point.
Listen, it has a shit ton of elements of hip hop, and not even just hip hop. When he released this, white guy talking about the history of hip hop. It's not even just like hip hop in the state that it was in 2015. It's got Parliament Funkadelic with the fucking breakbeat idea that George Clinton helped originate. It has fucking Thundercat who does abstract R&B bass lines. It has Flying Lotus, who is one of the kings of experimental sample hip hop and shit. It has Dr. Dre on I can't express this enough. The most prolific producer in rap of all time.
What up, Detroit?
Has a phone call. He's on a phone call on the first song. He's talking to Tupac through poetry the entire album. This is a dedication. It's not even that, you know what it is? He didn't even try to make pop hits on this record. That's what Damn was him trying to make more pop hits, if you want to call him that. He didn't try to make pop hits. He's just so fucking good that he did. Do you know what I mean? This is an album laden with, like, shit that makes people who are super into hip hop bounce. Thundercat, Flying Lotus, Dr. Dre. Again, George goddamn motherfucking Parliament Funkadelic Clinton. This is not something that he made hoping to appeal to the fucking high school jocks or the basketball games. He didn't do it, but he's so good at what he does that he did it almost by accident. You know what I mean?
Where are you getting that claim?
What do you mean? Which claim?
That
Which
this
part?
was like effortless. That this was almost by accident.
No. Effortless isn't the word. Sorry. Accident might not be the word. He made something really fucking great.
Yeah.
But it's so good that the shit on the surface level, the stuff on the surface level is going to have pop appeal. The stuff that we could appreciate, the fact that George Clinton's on this song, the fact that Flying Lotus produced this, I'm not going to run through all the shit again. The shit that's a bit deeper down the barrel, the love letter to hip hop that this entire record is, the love letter to black culture this entire record is. Again, white guy talking about black culture. The love letter, all of it is going to hit differently on levels, but the surface level is one of the best albums of all time, regardless of genre. You know what I mean? Sorry, I know that I'm not arguing with people. I know that we're all on the same boat with this. I promise I'm
But
not.
you're yelling it at us.
Because I'm so in love with this. I'm sorry. It's true.
Yeah,
I understand there's a
great.
microphone in front of me. It's just shit. I'll let you guys have the floor now. I've obviously spoken my
No,
piece.
please.
But
I love the passion.
shit.
I don't mean to keep countering you.
Sure.
It's just more so in my mind, Kendrick's for the last 10 years been cemented as the best rapper of all time.
I know.
Best rapper of the big three, best living, best of all time.
Mhm.
There's no debating that.
Right.
And, you know, a song like this just proves it. I got nothing more to say. It is what it is. He's
Right.
the best rapper of all time. I'll die on that hill.
There's not much to.
Yeah.
It's Wesley's goddamn theory off of To Pimp a Goddamn Butterfly. What can you say?
It's a top 3 rap album of all time, arguably 2. And Kendrick's got 2 of those spots.
You're not going to bait me into an argument. What, you haven't spoken yet. What's up?
Yeah, I spoke a little bit. No, I've said this for years. This intro, and I said it earlier a little bit, but this intro is just for me as a hip hop fan, for just a fan of music, who appreciates art. This song specifically, to just look at the song, has everything. Big NWA fan growing up. So to hear, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre sprinkled throughout all of, exactly. Dr. Dre sprinkled throughout all of, Kendrick Lamar's career, obviously. It was cool. The passing of the torch from Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg to Kendrick Lamar, all of that. It's crazy. And yeah, this whole record, this album is crazy. It's a lot. And a lot of people don't get it because it's like information overload and it's production overload. The jazz fusion just doesn't mesh with a lot of people. I'm making it sound like it's negatives. It's not. I think it's cool as fuck, and majority think it's cool as fuck. But I'm just saying also that a lot of people just don't get it, you know? And it's a shame because it's so masterfully crafted. Like, and listen, I love, you know, we George and I did a tier list of Kendrick Lamar a few years ago.
Song by song.
Song by song.
God
We also did
almighty.
Eminem, maybe not as great of a time.
Maybe?
And it was also took longer because he has so many more albums.
Dude.
Whatever. That's whatever.
That's next episode.
Yeah, oh God. But anyways,
Give me ideas.
Don't make me listen to Eminem in my free time.
We'll do the big three of the early 2000s.
Don't make me listen to Eminem
oh
in my
my
free
God,
time.
that'd be crazy.
Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas.
Oh my God, that'd be fucking.
I think I would have a decent amount to
Oh
say
my
about two
God.
of those.
Oh my God, that'd be okay. That's
That's later. That's later.
But really, look at all my favorite Kendrick is Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
It's actually funny enough. It's actually my favorite rap album of all time is Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
We are all different in best Kendrick album, which is funny actually.
I don't think there's a really wrong choice though.
Yeah,
there
but you know, for this album is just so masterfully crafted.
I can think of three wrong choices, but
If you said "Damn" was your favorite, that is definitely wrong.
it's a little sus. It's a little
Yeah,
sus.
I know. So I know people who think that.
I've seen someone on YouTube who that's their favorite.
It's a little
That's
sus.
fucking crazy
You
to
can't
me.
have a favorite album with God on it. I'm sorry.
Yep, 100%.
You can't have one with love on it.
Yeah.
Some
You know what?
ass.
Yeah, we finally agree on this episode. That's really cool.
Finally.
We've been disagreeing a lot, I feel like.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly is just, for a first listen especially, it's like, it's, as I said, it's kind of like information overload and it's overload, but it's fucking crazy. Like, I still remember my first, like, listen of it, and it's just, it's unlike any other, and it's unlike any other Kendrick record as well, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, I still don't think it's not my favorite of his, but that's where I really look at To Pimp a Butterfly in like a completely different category, where it's just so. What, you want to say something?
No, I have a question. I have a question
yeah.
when you're done about it. It's
You can go now. I was just gonna say, like, I really like, I can like, and I don't really know how to explain it really, but I can really bunch in like all of his other stuff together, even though like Damn is completely different from all of his other albums. But I've always like held To Pimp a Butterfly in a different hand, just because it just feels like a different piece of art, you know. The way that it sounds, the way that it feels, the subject material, the aggression, the time that it came out, being like that certain age. I remember when Blacker the Berry was a single, and I remember hearing that as a single. I bought it on iTunes. I was like, I bought it randomly. I wasn't even a Kendrick fan at that point.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and I bought it, and then I heard it, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
it's insane.
Blacker the Berry is fucking crazy.
No, that was a good time.
It is
It's a crazy time.
It's a
You remember that time, right?
I bought the hat.
It's fucking.
I bought the
crazy.
hat with the eye on it.
I remember.
Oh, did you really?
I got it hanging up in my room.
They were talking. I remember the most notable thing from this. I remember his Grammy performance that I kind of mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
the Grammy performance
people
is
were
crazy.
talking about that for months. He used
It's on the cop car.
he used
Yeah.
with the fucking with the chain gang. It's insane.
And you know,
it's
and
insane.
I think it just goes to show how everything we just said. You know, you buying that merch, even me just fucking randomly buying that iTunes song, you remembering that performance. I think it just goes to show how special this album really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is one of the best.
So I know what, and we'll get to his his opinion on his favorite Kendrick album of all time.
After we play my song.
Yes, and I'm actually going to. I'll ask you this, and then we can move on to your song
Yeah.
because there's
We'll do it quick. We've taken so long.
Real
and
quick.
we're fine though. I'm in no rush.
real quick, as succinct as you can sum it up as if that's possible. Why Good Kid, Mad City over T-Pep? Again, not
Yeah.
wrong. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, this is actually a good segue, I think, to go into mine. It kind of goes into my personal bias, and it goes into my upbringing in hip hop in general. The first rap song I ever heard was "Boys in the Hood," Eazy-E, NWA, The Posse, and I still think "Boys in the Hood" is one of the greatest rap songs of all time, from one of the greatest rap groups of all time. You know, Dr. Dre. Oh, he missed the button. You know, and we put a lot of perfect sound bites on that board, by the way, for this episode. Mostly
I
you.
just wish they were louder. They're cranked up all the way right now.
I can hear them pretty well. But
during
anyways,
the song, though.
so I have that's just what like my father listened to was like gangster rap. So the first thing I ever heard was NWA. So I was really heavy into NWA. So that was my exposure to Dr. Dre, specifically like Compton hip hop.
Yeah, what up, Detroit?
And yeah, so I really grew up on that stuff. West Coast stuff, obviously. West Coast hip hop was just really huge. Really deep into that. Really got into Dr. Dre. And then, you know, I find Kendrick. I wasn't into Kendrick when I was like around Good Kid, Mad City. I was at that point. I was like still really into gangster rap. I knew of Kendrick Lamar, but I wasn't really into modern rap. I actually, the first time I heard swimming pools, I remember it was 7th, 8th grade football, and everybody on my team was like playing it. They're like, "This is the best." And there was this one kid named was Derek, and he was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be one of the best rappers of all time." This like 7th grader on my team was saying that.
Yeah.
I heard swimming pools. I'm like, "This song sucks." You know, I'm blaring like Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police, Chin Check, stuff like that. You know, I didn't even know Kendrick was like affiliated with Dr. Dre at that point or anything. I hated swimming pools, hated it, and I knew it was from that album, Good Kid, Mad City, whatever. But because of that, I shelved Kendrick. But as I got older, you know, exposure to Kendrick, all of that, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Maybe Derek was right.
Yeah.
Right. I finally listened to Good Kid, Mad City, and Good Kid, Mad City is exactly the album that I always wanted growing up, listening to groups like Above the Law, NWA, the Ghetto Boys, you know, artists from Death Row Records, all like those West Coast guys that I listened to in middle school and like early high school. It has the grittiness, the aggression, lyrics of gangster rap. It has really great storytelling. And listen, I'm from the mean streets of Rutland, Vermont, right? I don't come from that at all, right? It was just what I was exposed to in terms of rap. And I always really liked it. You know, when I first heard, you know, cruising down the street, you know, the
Right.
beginning of Boys in the Hood, I just fell in love with it. I can't really answer why.
Well, it's because of how deep the songs go. I mean, they paint this image
Yeah,
so
they
well
paint
that
the
it
image
puts
very
you in that
well.
environment.
And Kendrick
especially.
just amplifies that, right? Even in his early days. And that's actually why I pick a song from Good Kid, Mad City. But Good Kid, Mad City has like those lyrics, just, you know, times 20, really, really rich in like the description of it. But it also has production that is like really great to hear. You know, Dr. Dre is all over it. The instrumentals are like it's modern day production because a lot of gangster rap sounds kind of ass. Because I don't even know how to explain it. Like if you like listen to gangster rap from like the late 80s, early 90s, like the actual like instrumentals kind of sound like gross. Not like in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was
like,
still in its like shock value.
like it
stage.
sounds, yeah, but like I just mean the literal quality
Right.
sounds like choppy
Yeah.
and gross.
Yeah.
You know, because like it's meant to be like loud and like bad.
Yeah.
But it actually sounds loud and bad, you know? So Good Kid, Mad City just like has like an actual like properly mixed sound to it with like these really like sometimes creepy, eerie instrumentals or really loud and aggressive that I always like wanted to like hear in like a really rich sense that I never really heard. And like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, Dr. Dre even back in the 80s and 90s or whoever had really good, it sounded really good at points, but sometimes it just didn't. So having that in Good Kid, Mad City was just fucking awesome. And then having, you know, someone like Kendrick Lamar who can just like, you know, paint a picture so well in each song, the cohesiveness of the first track of Good Kid, Mad City all the way to the end is fucking, it just blew my mind. You know, like the actual story that goes all the way throughout of his upbringing in Compton. There's a bunch of like voicemails and stuff throughout. I don't know how well you remember the album. So I picked And
Somebody will say Dominoes.
yeah, and it's funny. I picked, I think it's track 4 or 5. I picked The Art of Peer Pressure. Earlier one, I picked an early Kendrick song. Kind of tells a story, a very linear song out of all of his discography. And I will go more into it after we listen. So let's just sit back and listen to young Kendrick rap about good old Compton back in the day. Shout out to Jeezy.
Shout out Jeezy. That's the second time he's been brought up.
I was gonna mention that. J. Cole mentions Jeezy as well.
Yeah.
Jeezy's the man.
I haven't heard that song like in full in a while. I didn't realize how many references it had to like other shit in the album, especially that skit.
Yeah.
At the end, like the laced blunt and all that.
Shireen.
The mama's van.
Yep.
All that shit. Like,
Yeah, I picked a song. I mentioned in my preface of like the storytelling of the album from beginning to end. So I picked a middle part. Overall, simple song. There's like a little intro and then a kind of a beat change, and it's kind of like just like a simple like snare drum type deal, telling a basic story of like a night out with his friends, trying to hit up the girls. All right, the girls fucked off, whatever. All right, let's go rob some shit, type deal. It's a basic story, but I brought it just to discuss his early on storytelling. Now, obviously, there's stuff earlier on in Kendrick's discography, Section 80, where he just like starts spazzing. We talked about Rick and Mortis earlier. He still has that skill, but I just wanted to show like an earlier showcase of like his like linear storytelling, just to kind of like see like where he progressed later on. But overall, yeah, Good Kid, Mad City kind of has like that really linear feeling to it. I don't expect us to discuss, like there's really not much to discuss in that song specifically. But I just wanted to, show like an early point in his career. He has a really different sound. He's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like compared to like now, where he's like all over the place with like his voice. But he sounds very youthful there. And obviously he is physically younger, right? But the whole idea of Good Kid, Mad City, him telling the story of him, growing up in the streets of Compton. There's like an innocence to the album. There's a really strong innocence to that song. It really just sprinkled throughout the whole thing. And I really like that about the album. Not that I can relate to the album at all. Not at all.
No?
No, not one bit actually.
Interesting.
Shit, I'm with the homies.
Yeah.
But it really early on Kendrick, and actually I think what song is after that? I don't remember.
I know. Fuck. Yeah, I'm blanking on it too. There's
The track,
I can find it.
The track list is crazy for the album.
Yeah.
Money trees.
I was gonna say
Money trees. Yeah, it goes into like money trees. There's
Backseat Freestyle was before this one.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Makes sense.
I refused to pick like a mega hit. I wanted to showcase like a different one.
Yeah.
Just like a
I think all of us had that mentality.
yeah. Well, there's so many hits from Good Kid, Mad
There
City.
are, yeah.
But I actually really like this one. It's really standard. But really like the basic beat. As I said, the youthfulness of it. And he has really simple storytelling. But he's always just like had that like in him. So, what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's definitely on the simpler side of things, especially in the context of this album. Like, that's a hard one to take out of context. Like, I can't really have that in a playlist or anything like that.
Hell no.
And I think for a lot of people, that's the biggest chink in Kendrick's armor. But I don't know. For me, just like the fact that this is such a breakout album stuffed with so many singles and everything can be cohesively tied together. You need moments like this that are the thread that kind of binds everything. Like he crams a lot into this song, be it the skit, be it the story that he's telling. But it's songs like this that, in between all the memories that you have attached to the album, in between all the commercial success and performances that you associate with the album, it's these type of moments that really like force you to remember the actual story that he's telling. I mean, even on the cover of this album, it says that it's a short film. And anyone will look at that and be like, why is this fucking album with a car in the front of it claiming to be a short film? But it's like, You can't really deny he's got a movie he's painting in front of
He's
you. here.
always he always like has like an idea.
Yeah.
And he always like executes it.
He does.
And he like these songs that are like the threads. It's like like
Yeah.
no one remembers this song because it's in the middle of backseat freestyle and money trees.
Yeah, no, seriously.
But it needs to be there.
Yeah.
It really does.
I don't
need to
think
be
Kendrick
there.
would be. He wouldn't be my favorite if he didn't have songs like this. You know,
No.
it's these type of songs that, although I don't return to them very often, and they're very much a deep cut, it's these type of songs that are what make him the best rapper alive for me.
He's the type of rapper that you could listen to for 2 days straight, just going through everything over and over. And every time you did that cycle of like a day of I'm gonna listen to this, couple days off, you can come out with like 3 logical picks for your favorite songs from Kendrick, and you wouldn't be wrong any time, really, unless you pick Blood off of Damn. Or not Blood, Love off of Damn. But it's like this. I think it's interesting because it's like you're saying, he's always had this storytelling element, and each album he has tackles a different level of his psyche, I would say. Like early on, like this deals a lot with like his personal vices, and the way his city shaped him and peer pressure shaped him and the young experience as a young black man in America shaped him. TPAB is about the experience of black men in America as a whole outside of his personal upbringing, but also ties back to it. And then Damn is very much about like his struggles as an adult, slightly less so about race, I would say. So it's much more about like his personal stuff. Mr. Morale is about the trials and tribulation and growth that he has had as a person too. So each thing he's done has tackled a different sort of issue with his socialization and his upbringing and how it's shaped him into the man that he's become. And all of them do it, and all of them do and jump around into multiple different fields, and they interact with each other, and there's conversation between the two, and all of that. And it's I said my piece like before. It's like he's impossibly clever in his ability to create such a compelling environment out of something so realistically, when you really break it down to the peas and carrots of the matter, really fucking morbid. And yet out of it come like just banger after banger after banger. It's unbelievable how he does it. And yeah, exactly. A short movie is exactly right. I saw someone describe this album as a movie. And yeah, I mean, yeah. It pretty much is.
It is. Yeah.
It's insane. It is. You don't need to hear us tell you that Kendrick's the best rapper of all time because it's true. I mean, you're just kind of like fucking treading water at this point. It's unbelievable. I mean, and yeah, it's like you said, it's not fucking. I would say that this is the minimalism to Wesley's theories, like relative maximalism. The percussion on this is fucking great. Like there's bongos in like the first, I think in the intro and like right into the first chorus, and then I don't think they come back, and it's just like a constant snare riff. I don't remember what the name of it is when you lay the stick on it and you just kind of like tap a bunch. It's great. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. What more can you say?
Yeah. Very simple, but simple is good every now and then.
All right.
Shit.
Yep. So
All right, we're moving on to the last one.
after 7.5 hours, we're here.
2 hours and 38 minutes and counting.
God bless.
Nice.
Kendrick.
What haven't we said?
What haven't we said? It's
true.
I'm going off Kendrick's most recent work.
Sweet.
The best rap album of all time. Kendrick's best rap album. Each chapter of Kendrick's life is very much a story, right? His life, I should say his discography. Each album in his discography tells a fluent narrative. You know, you start out him as a kid, you move on to him as a famous person, you move on to him dealing with the troubles of saviorism that he picked up during the Butterfly stuff. You know, Damn's all about confusion and not really knowing where to go from here. You know, I got the respect of the streets. I got the critical success. Let me get the chart success too. He did all three. What the fuck do you do after that? Especially like as a person. It's like, well, I did it. Like I made the money. I got the critical acclaim. I got the respect. What else do you do? And I think that really stuck with him for a while. And if I were him, I'd have no idea where to fucking go from that. And his decision was to look at himself, take his position as the top of his game in every category, and just tear himself down publicly. He picks apart himself on this album, and I don't think any song does that better than "Mother I Sober," which is what I'm going.
I don't really know what there is to say about that one either. To be honest with you,
It's magic. I don't know how you do that.
No, you're right. It's I think that you kind of touched on it earlier. Actually, people wanted Mr. Morale to be one thing, and then it was just so much not that. It is the most insane dissection of a person I have heard in any music. Let alone the fact that in rap music, very, very big generalization. In rap music, you don't hear this type of introspection. We've heard introspection. We've heard it on this fucking podcast alone. J. Cole had a song deeply introspective about the experience of his friend. You know what I mean? But this is what makes this song so revealing is the subject matter and the candor with which he talks about it. But he's not shining the light on anyone else. There's no mask. There's no optic. There's no lens. There's no phone calls. It's a therapy session. The piano, which by the way, the piano actually made it sound like it's from The Social Network, which fucks. I just love that. But it's true. I don't think I have ever heard a rap song where there is a guy talking about, like, people said that my cousin assaulted me. He didn't, but they said that he did. And moreover, the guilt that I feel about not being able to protect my mother turned me into an addict, and I couldn't face her sober. And now she's gone, and I can't say anything to her except just be a better person. There's nothing. It is. And then as he gets into it, he's muttering and he's whispering, and then he starts to sort of turn his pain outward and try and use it to become a better person, a not a deity anymore, like a what's the word? Like a counselor for his community, a teacher, a veteran, a quote old head, end quote. As he turns that outward, he's getting louder, and he's like, now it's not a therapy session. Now it's like a pastor in front of the congregation. Yeah. Like, this is what I'm leaving you with. You need to take this forward. It's a fucking perfect song. He's able to do this thing where he can be so deep and so, again, here's that word again, word of the week, I guess, candid, and so direct and not pull punches and brutal and gut punchy. We were joking earlier about crying at the J. Cole song, and it was a very emotional moment, and we were emotional in that moment. Legitimately getting misty at this song. Yeah. It's because it's every time it's gripping, and it's relentless, and it grabs you by the collar, and it demands that you listen to it. And again, this is almost a 7-minute song. It didn't feel like 7 minutes to me. It didn't.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of a paradox. You can't have this album without his previous albums.
It's true.
And his previous albums aren't as good without this album.
Interesting. Okay.
Because he did this crazy thing where he shed a brand new perspective on a community that's been talked about to death, Compton. 20 years before he ever put out an album, Compton was all over the nation, and everyone knew about Compton's problems. And here Kendrick comes in talking about those problems, again, the same shit, but doing it in such a cool way that made it mainstream again. It woke people up to this part of the world. And then To Pimp a Butterfly comes out and says, hey, these problems that I have in this community are across this whole fucking nation. We got to do something about it. Like,
right.
You know, we got to, tear this shit down, acknowledge it, tear it down, and rebuild anew. So he's leading this sort of like path of revolution of like, this is a problem and we have to fix it. But what no one talks about and what no one wants to talk about is how this problem affects the individual. You can acknowledge the problem all you want. You can talk about how to fix the problem all you want, but you can't undo the microcosm of social disruption that the problem caused. Because of circumstance, because of underfunding, because of all these different things, the tension that people have between each other because they're forced into a competitive environment, things like sexual abuse happen. And when those things happen, 30 years down the line, they develop into a sexual addiction for another person. And then that sexual addiction, despite being the most critically acclaimed rapper of all time and one of the richest rappers ever, destroyed his marriage. to another woman who had nothing to do with Compton.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, it's insane, first of all, that this shit happens. No one wants to talk about it. No one looks at it as deep as he does.
Right.
Thank God Kendrick turned around and looked back at what he already conquered so that he could bring this stuff to light.
Right.
And second of all, it's insane. It's magic that he's able to take it and make it into a digestible piece of media that anyone can listen to and finally understand what's going on. And given that, what the fuck was Drake thinking mentioning Whitney in the diss? How could you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even saying that as a joke. How could you do that?
Yeah.
How could you listen to an album like this with her on the cover holding his child?
His newborn child.
Listening to a song like this where he says in the song that they are no longer together because he cheated on her due to the generational trauma of his mother being sexually abused and him not knowing how to process that, and then Drake making a joke about it.
It's rap, bro. Yeah.
He already won the beef. Like, I'm here for it. I want Kendrick to make a diss because I think it's fun.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane.
gonna
You
be
know, I'm all here for
insane.
rap WrestleMania. But the thing that sets Kendrick apart and the reason why Kendrick has the gold medal is because he's not even in the circle anymore. He's above it.
He's
He's
ascended.
above
That's
everything.
the exact word I was thinking when I was listening was ascension.
Yeah.
He's ascended. It's true.
And it's a common punchline. Kendrick says it on To Pimp a Butterfly. Like, I was going to kill these rappers, but they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I'm here for it. I want the beef to continue. I want more diss tracks because it's fun. But Kendrick already won.
Yeah.
Drake embarrassed the fuck out of himself with that Whitney line alone, let alone all the other shit he does to embarrass himself. But, like, that line just shows me how tone deaf and stupid you are.
I mean, unfortunately, people take it at a surface level,
Yeah,
anyways, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, the beef's fun, right?
It's fun,
as a
but-
consumer, as us just enjoying seeing, like, you know, rap is back, yeah, because the rap feuds are fun, right? We look back at, you know, the way that East and West Coast would feud back in, like, the 90s and stuff, and maybe some more, like, recent stuff, maybe, like, in the, you know, early 2000s and stuff in, you know, 2010s era. That stuff's cool to look at. It's kind of cool to see, like, you know, a reignition of that. But, you know, you look into it, whereas nobody else is looking into it. And who knows if Drake, like, I mean, I don't know how deep he's even, like, looking into it, if he even fucking listened to this song.
I don't think
You
he
know?
did, but I think J. Cole did.
Well, wait,
And I think J. Cole
you know,
backed the fuck out because of this exact reason that I'm talking about. This
Exactly,
is why the
yeah.
discourse is so uncomfortable to me.
Yeah,
Because it's like, how do you diss someone who puts out a song like that?
yeah.
Like, even in
If
J.
you're the
Cole's
three goats.
even
yeah.
in J. Cole's diss song, I think it goes even further than people are saying. He tiptoes around every insult. He said, "Your last shit was tragic." I don't think that's meant to be an insult. I think that's just him acknowledging, like, what the fuck do I say to you? Like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I will say, I said that Kendrick Lamar's mom's dead. I don't know if she is. I kind of assumed based on what I heard in that song. She might not be. I have no fucking clue. Just wanted to say that real quick. I know he's listening. So I think it's one of those things of it's, you know what it is? The word is ascension, and what I mean by that is when it comes to really petty shit, it's interesting to hear Kendrick talk about religion and this savior complex he developed from being the guy who made T-Pap, the guy who made it out of Compton, the new face of West Coast hip hop, the voice of the voiceless, the poet laureate, you know, the Bob Dylan of rap, whatever. Hey, listen, the point is, it's interesting to hear him do all this and be this Jesus figure, yet to me, when I see Kendrick Lamar in this stage, it's Buddhist. And what I mean by him being like a Buddhist is that he's very detached from, to me, in what he appears, he's detached from the realm that you and I are living in. This is a spirit who's ascended beyond. If the rap game is the world that we see these characters play in, that's the earth on the computer or whatever, right? If that's that, Drake is one of the fat cat billionaires of that world. Kendrick Lamar has escaped it and become a name on the billboards and the guy that you hear about in stories. You know what I mean? He's become the Buddha. He's separated. He doesn't have material shit anymore because he's so far separated. But when you get frankly, high school bully lines, which are funny. Some of them. The how can you be a big stepper wearing size 7 men's? Very funny.
I'll take that shit.
It's funny.
Is it funny?
No, to me it is. But here's the thing: it's funny, but it's a high school bully line. It's not anything that's going to put a dent in any. And he's doing this victory tour right now, talking about 1 week and you haven't responded. It's like, babe, you took 2 weeks. It was leaked, and then you revised it and did extra credit. And then Rick Ross dropped something the same night because that fat motherfucker doesn't sleep, apparently, and dropped something really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's interesting because it really shows what I think this podcast in the last couple of weeks have shown, at least me, this podcast episode specifically, I mean, there are levels to this. As great as J. Cole is, as Drake is making music,
As Drake is being Drake.
as he's able to use his voice and potentially in addition to all those things, potentially, that's alleged. In addition to those things, well, let's just not pull any punches about it. He is, allegedly. So the thing is this. With all those things happening, he's not going to hear this. In addition to all those things happening, Kendrick Lamar is leaps and bounds away. And not because he's lyrically better, though some may argue he is. Not because his albums are better, though everyone has an opinion on that. It's because he's ascended beyond the genre that he used to get out of his circumstances. He isn't a rap god. He's the rap Buddha. He's the tip of the pyramid.
Eminem's the rap god. You're right.
You're exactly right. I mean, how many laptops can Kendrick Lamar fit in his back pocket? I ask you.
Yeah.
But he's the tip of the pyramid. He's the creme de la creme. He's
He's a scary motherfucker, is what he is. He's fucking.
He forced without talking. Forced J. Cole to release a diss, apologize, delete the diss, back out of the beef, get Get Drake dissing, get Rick Ross and him beefing on Twitter. Twitter has been a hellscape for years, but the past couple of weeks especially, just waiting to see what happens next. It's must-see television.
I mean, I think it just goes back to what we've been saying. I mean, all of the big three's careers have just all gone certain directions where Drake has, intentionally gone a certain route. And he's trying to be like this like rapper persona as well now. He went down like that dance singer route. He's trying to like pull back like the rapper remnants, trying to be like that like hard rapper guy. Whereas you guys have been saying, Kendrick has just ascended to like this ethereal being now. J. Cole is just kind of sticking in his own lane, which is great. He's just constantly, improving. And I loved like the Drake diss. It was like really cool to hear. We keep saying that, the punches that are thrown are childish, the bully jabs that you're mentioning. But, maybe I'm a little more like retrospective now, like hearing this song and kind of really like, jumping into the bubble and like, just really like listening to this and like how much he actually, and I said it actually earlier, like I haven't listened to this album in a little bit and how much he really like tears himself down, even in one fucking song. And for Drake just to, rap is rap, you gotta just hit it where it hurts. Gotta hit him where it hurts. This is what the rap game is, right? This is what the rap game is. That's what people say. People go on Twitter, oh, Drake bodied Kendrick. Oh, he hasn't responded. It's the brain dead responses that people do, And for him to actually like, take a jab at his wife, and it's just fucking, it's actually, and for them all to be, 40 years old, it's fucking unbelievable.
It's fucking
disrespectful.
Weird. It's weird because Drake had every right to respond. I don't know why Kendrick dissed the way he did, but like,
yeah, that's another part of it for sure.
I don't know why he started that shit because he started that shit. He started it, and Drake coming through and dissing him totally warranted, and he had good lines. Arguably, the Drake diss is better than the Kendrick verse in terms of a diss track. It's more scathing. It's more punchy. It's more brutal.
I mean, it should be better. It's
Yeah.
the response
Yeah.
to a verse.
Yeah.
It's to a verse. Yeah.
Sports wise, it's a fucking awesome play. You know,
Yeah.
he did exactly what he needed to do, and he excelled at it. One word, and he lost. Like one word. You can't fuck with this guy. You can't. Not after that. This is why Kendrick's the scariest motherfucker in the world. You know, people want to compare the big three here. It's tempting to pick a song where Kendrick sounds the craziest, the verse where he's the most lyrical, most like aggressive, most angry. But no, it's because of this that he's the scariest motherfucker to ever rap. How the fuck do you do that? You're coming off of your prime. You take a hiatus. You come back. And all you do is voice your worst anxieties, the worst qualities about yourself, tell the entire world what you did to fuck up your marriage and hurt the mother of your children. That's a scary dude, man. That's a strong man. Like, that's a strong man. Like,
It's Kendrick Lamar has already made the best Kendrick Lamar diss of all time, and he's done it several times.
Yeah.
He does it. This isn't. I wouldn't call this a diss. This is an unpacking. But
I know
like-
what you mean, though.
But
Yeah.
even the song "You," that's a Kendrick Lamar diss about himself. Like all of it is. There's so many of it. Like Blacker the Berry's kind of a Kendrick Lamar diss too. Like he's unpacked so much of himself that Drake is forced to do high school bully stuff. You know,
and he can.
speaking about Kendrick Lamar's partner, speaking about Kendrick Lamar's height, speaking about the fact that Kendrick Lamar's record deal is forcing him to give up 50% of his earnings, doing all these things because he has to, because what J. Cole kind of found out, and you can tell because he doesn't have anything to say negative about Kendrick, because how can you? How can you say
Yeah, and
anything?
he doesn't fucking want to. Why would
Exactly.
you want to go down in history as the guy who, like, you know, like, got in a fight with this guy?
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to let it get to the point where you're actually hurting each other? Like,
Right.
if I was J. Cole, this would still be my favorite rap album of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything bad about it. Why would he?
Yeah, no.
Like,
I think it's kind of that thing of like, you don't remember Mike Tyson's opponents. You just remember Mike Tyson and like the one guy that was on the level the one time, but you don't remember him. Like, people don't remember the guy who beat Mike Tyson. They remember Mike Tyson. Does that make sense? So it's like, there are certain people who, and it's unfortunate, but it happens all the time. In sports especially, if we want to keep going with the sports analogies, it's like, it happens all the time. There are people who come around who are the apex of their sport. And in any other time, any other universe, any other era of the game, they are the best alive. Unfortunately, for people who have been in the same pocket window as Kendrick Lamar doing the same sorts of things, the two other gentlemen who we've spoken about today, unfortunately, you just have the bad luck of being alive at the same time as the best to ever do it. And it's unfortunate, but that's life. You know what I mean? It sucks, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, you wait till the king gets dethroned, kind of.
yeah.
It's kind of the process.
Yeah. And it's weird to say, I'm going to address the elephant in the room here. We're three young white dudes.
Yeah.
I said I'm from the mean streets of Rutland, Vermont,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I grew up on gangster rap from South Central Los Angeles.
So there you go.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, like, as beautiful and as perfect as Good Kid and To Pimp a Butterfly are, I can appreciate them for the cultural impact that they have, but it's not a culture that I can speak on. It's not a culture I'm familiar with. Doesn't mean that discredits it whatsoever. It's just that for this album in particular, this is the first time I've heard a Kendrick album, and to an extent, I can leave with something I can do. Like, all the shit he talks about on here, it still pertains to his overall message, and it still pertains to, like, the community that he's from. But these are, like, life lessons. This is spiritual shit. He goes on about not even how to fix these problems, just, like, how to acknowledge this shit. And I'm not saying I went through any of the same stuff he did, but, like, when this came out and I was really able to, like, sit with it on my own time and, like, look at these passages that he's writing, and even, like, the voices that he brings onto this album, like Eckhart Tolle, I had no idea who that was. And then I listened to this album and I just heard him say, Mr. Duckworth, on one of the songs. And I went and did all the research myself. And then I read his whole book, and it changed my fucking life. But it's just, like, not only am I able to take something from this album and change my life with it, but I'm able to take this album and understand on a level deeper than I ever would have wanted to or thought possible to go, understand the issues that this community is dealing with. Like, I can listen to The Pimp a Butterfly and think, like, damn, that sucks. Like, I should go protest. I should go donate. I should go do something. But, like, what can I really say? What can I really do? I'm not famous. I don't have money. I don't have influence. Like, I'll do what I can, but I can't help the people that I know on any greater level than what I've been doing. I can only, like, appreciate the art alongside them and talk about the stuff that it says. This is an album that gave me resources, gave me initiative to go understand interpersonal microcosms on a deeper level that I can then take, and now I can be more productive, not only to myself, but to the people around me, to the people that are suffering, to the people that are victims of discrimination. Because I understand this shit on a much deeper level, thanks to me being forced to listen to it from my favorite rapper of all time, dropping an album out of nowhere, not saying shit about it. Stuff like that, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't really want to say any more about it because I could talk forever, but he's the only motherfucker that could get me to listen to a Kodak album. So he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, unless anyone has any parting words, I think that's a great note to end it on.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for being here, Dom.
It's my pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed. We hope to have you back soon to talk about Griselda and then Eminem in that order.
Oh my God, fucking Eminem episode. Oh my God.
He has a song with the three Griselda boys.
Yeah, you're right.
And I bet that he bodies that. So we're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for listening to however long this ended up being. We look forward to suplexing you again. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.